Welcome back to the best division in football with Awthentik in the Beard, presented by All or Nothing Studios. What's up, team? Thanks for tuning in to our Tuesday recap show with your boy, Scotty Boomz. NFC East continuing to prove their ineptitude this season. Another 1-3 weekend. The only win we got was an interdivisional win. Washington football team had a chance to clinch. They blew it. Giants had a chance to tie up Washington. They blew it. The only team to get a win was the Cowboys. It's been ugly. A lot of big news coming out of the NFC East, particularly Washington, the DMV. I was just talking to Awthentik off air. I'm very glad we had 48 hours. I had 48 hours to kind of process this news coming out. I'm going to be a little measured tonight. I'm going to be calm, cool, calm, collected, all that good stuff. So you're not going to see any outbursts. Let's bring in the fellas. Awthentik, man, down to week 17, my friend. Week 16 wasn't beautiful for us. How you doing tonight, though?
Hey, I'm feeling as good as you could possibly feel in a loss because, man, did the chips fall our way this weekend after we took that L at 1 o'clock to the Ravens, man. And I'm pretty happy, man. I think if you date back to episode 1 of this season, I think we were all in agreement that we just wanted to see this come down to that last week of the season. We looked at the schedule. We saw that the Eagles were going to be playing the Washington football team. We saw that the Dallas Cowboys was going to be playing my New York Giants. And, man, I got everything I wanted, man. I'm pretty happy, man, considering, we got a couple games we left out there for sure that we could have been, at the top of this division. It's been pitiful. And if somebody could get in here at 6 wins, it's going to be amazing. If Washington doesn't take care of business on Sunday night, this is going to be a very, very interesting Sunday, man. And I'll tell you what, man, I chopped it up with Kyle Pizzle today on the phone for like 2 hours, bro, just off nothing. Just talking football. Just
phone call, old school
phone
style.
call. We literally should have probably recorded it. It was a fantastic conversation. We talked a little bit of everything, man, that goes NFC East, man. And I just thought that was amazing, man. Just somebody I met in the Giants community, I get to just chop it up with him on the phone. It was supposed to be like a quick 10-minute call. Ended up being like a 2-hour call, man. So shout out to my man, Kyle Pizzle, man. And been chopping it up on Twitter, man, all this past week, bro. Like, Twitter's just been popping, man. Shout out to everybody who follows me on Twitter, man, because, yeah, it's been wild. Popped up on Rev T's show this morning. He had Doc Walker on there in the beginning, right before I got on. And then we were talking.
Washington channel, right?
Yeah, Rev T's Washington channel. I want to say the channel is WFT Rev, I believe is the channel. I'll make sure to put that in my Twitter if you follow me, man. Hilarious dude, man. Had his co-host on today. Playoff. I can't remember his name, actually. I don't want to butcher it, but man, it was a fantastic conversation over there too, man. Woke up my day and just got me started mad early talking football. So I'm ready, man. It's been a big week of football, a lot of news. I'm ready to get going, bro.
The Beard, Haskins out, Heineke in. How you feeling tonight, my guy?
I'm good, man. Won my fantasy football championship yesterday off the Stephon Diggs performance, so I was pretty stoked about that.
How many points did you win by?
I don't know. I think I ended up winning by like 30 or 40.
Nice.
I'll tell you the crazy part is that so I have Stephon Diggs, but in my other championship league, I was facing Stephon Diggs. I had a huge lead in that game because I had Devontae Adams, who also went off. And so like it was kind of like, but the other league is a 2-week championship. So I have next week. And it's the total score between these week 16 and week 17 to win the championship. So I wasn't like, I'm still within 7 points in that championship game. So it was crazy because he had Corey Davis, and Corey Davis put up 0 points in Sunday Night Football.
They didn't do it. And Derrick Henry had himself a bad game, too. If you were banking on Tennessee in your championship, you probably lost. I like the 2-week championships as well, but not week 16 and week 17. I mean,
do y'all remember how high Corey Davis was drafted?
Number 5 overall.
Number 5. I think he's one of the highest wide receivers drafted in like the past 5 years.
It's kind of who drafted him? Didn't Cleveland draft him?
No, he's
or am I tripping? It was drafted by Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I thinking about? That was a wide receiver that was drafted by Cleveland. That was not Corey Davis.
Corey Coleman.
Corey Coleman. Corey Coleman was drafted by them, but
he was second round, I think.
Yeah, he wasn't top 5,
okay.
Right?
But yeah, it was Devontae Adams, man. His footwork is incredible. Like it's insane.
Him and Hopkins. I mean, he's right there. I think Hopkins is better, but he's right there.
I think it's tough. There's a lot of good wide receivers in the league right now. I think in the offseason we should do like some
rankings,
videos of some rankings and stuff like that, like where we think everybody is. I think it'll be kind of interesting because There's a lot of talent at the wide receiver position right now. And I was just looking at like running back position too. I was just like looking at the drop off as far as like yardage goes between Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook and then the rest of everybody else. It's like 500 yards.
Yeah.
It's insane.
If only
And Kamara.
Yeah, if only the Giants and Washington could get some of that wide receiver help out there. I mean, apparently all those good
Boy,
receivers, but we can't find one of them.
We better get one this year. I know that. When this draft come up, Giants better get a wide receiver.
So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to say some hellos to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for watching us across all the platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Periscope. We appreciate the love and the support. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up while you guys are here. It helps us get this stream out into the YouTube universe. First in the building, we're going to say what's up to Waterfly. I lost my bet to Waterfly, the Dwayne Haskins bet.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's right.
Waterfly has a $20 credit at the Over the Years live sales anytime.
That's sketchy.
No,
as
that's what they
hell.
wanted.
Oh, I was about
Yeah.
to say.
No. Waterfly wants that.
So you can't lose is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
You can't lose. Of course you'll make that bet.
Hey, next time I need to send a contract out with these bets. The way the Awthentik and the Beard bank account is set up, we're going to need them chips, Waterfly. I don't know what kind of agreement y'all made on the side.
No, he made it in the chat. Like, I was like, yo, just tell me your PayPal, your Venmo, I'll send it to you.
I said on the side. Come on, cuz.
Marjorie's in the building. What's going on, Marjorie?
Hey,
How
what's
you
up,
doing
Marjorie?
today? And Lax Ofo.
Hey, that's my fam right there. What's up, Lax? How you
What
living?
up? What up? Nate Talks Giants is in the building.
Hey, that's my G right there. Yes, sir. The young bull. Go sub up to Nate if you don't know, man. Nate Talking Giants, man.
And yes, we will call you J-Mo.
J-Mo, what's up, man?
I saw.
Double shot.
I was telling Awthentik. I saw J-Mo in a Redskins chat yesterday. A random Redskins chat on YouTube.
He's all over the
Getting
place,
around.
man.
He's getting
all
around.
over the place. Roman
Hey, Roman in the building. That's another young bull.
got
Yes,
the profile pic
I like
changed.
it. I like it. that's the football reference joint right there. Like when you see his stats.
It
Daniel
looks like the
Jones.
very first picture they get, like, all right, on draft day, like, all right, throw the jersey on real quick, take a picture.
Right.
Okay, smile.
Daniel Jones got them beady, narrow eyes. Now, this right here is my true
AJ.
young bull right here.
Man, AJ been like not like real trolling, but he been play trolling Washington football team on
Hey, right
Twitter.
there.
That's
So-
Suge Knight. Isn't that Suge Knight authentic?
That's
That's your boy.
little Suge Knight right there.
That's
That's
your
a
cat.
young Suge. I like that, Scotty. That's young Suge Knight. Don't mess around with Awthentik in the beard. AJ gonna come for you, bro. He definitely got our back. It's showing on Twitter. Check him out on Twitter one time. I know he got a finesse in the name, and he been finessing y'all like straight up, man. That's my dude right there.
And JJ Stangle. What's
Hey,
going
what's
on,
up?
JJ?
What up, JJ?
Mr.
And
Stanley.
the absolutely amazing, as always, Sunday. Thank you for all that you do in the chat, Sunday. We really
Definitely.
appreciate
Salute
that
to Sunday.
for sure.
Salute to
on a
Sunday.
Tuesday.
And Justin says, "What's up, guys? Who's excited for XFL Haskins?"
I heard he just cleared waivers. Nobody
He
wanted
did.
to put a waiver claim on him, so that's not good.
Hey,
Schefter said there are some people. I mean, that's about as good as comparison as you can get. Schefter said there are some teams that are expressing some interest.
Spike don't care.
Spike, thank you.
Spike
That's
don't
exactly
care.
how I feel right now. Done.
Joseph, what's going on, Joseph? Thank you for
Joseph in
joining
the
us,
building.
brother.
Giants Nation one time. What's up, fam?
Who else we got in the building today? I saw
Let me
Matt
guess, the
Emery
chat-
here.
the
What's
chat-
going
the
on?
chat freezing
Hey,
again
Not
today.
the chat didn't
Chad,
jump.
you jumping? I was just saying, me and Authentic were waiting for the beard to be like, Chad's jumping on me. Chad's jumping on me.
I'm trying to
Save
not
his
let it
time.
jump, but it happens. There's nothing I can do. What's going on, Matt? Thank you for joining us, brother.
Hey, Matt Emery,
my
what up, fam?
guy.
Nerd
can't
Cage
watch
is
it
in the
to see it.
building. What's up, Nerd Cage?
Hey, Wu-Tang is for the kids. My man, what's up, fam?
Wu-Tang forever.
Who else we got in the building today? JD Davis. What's going on, JD? What's up? Thank you for
I'm
joining
wondering
us.
if that's I know a JD Davis from around the way, and I'm wondering if that's JD from around the way or not.
Yo.
MTV Raps in the building one time. What up? What up?
Kyle Key, the resident Houston Texans fan, along with Cernock, is in the building.
Yes, sir. What's
That
up,
JJ
Kyle?
Watt speech, man, that one got me good. Not crying.
Yeah, that
one
was
got me
really
a little
good.
emotional. That was awesome
That's
to
what
see
you want to
that.
see out of your players. I'm telling you, that was directed at Dwayne Haskins. Everybody was asking, who was he talking about from the Texans locker room. I think that one was for Dwayne Haskins.
We talking about Haskins, baby.
You know,
Haskins.
people on Twitter have been putting together this crazy thought that Deshaun Watson is going to be playing quarterback for Washington next year.
Whoa.
Wow.
I don't.
Does Houston
Like,
really
with
just want to
everybody.
fold as a franchise? Get rid of Deshaun Watson.
I was like, man, you guys do
Okay,
realize
nah,
that we
that's
have
not
a championship, possible division championship game this Sunday, right? Why I don't understand why we have to talk about Deshaun Watson being quarterback for Washington. It's crazy.
I mean, Giants fans do the same thing. I noticed when I was on Entertainers Channel during their game, people in the thing like, who do y'all want to take with our 3rd-round draft pick? Like, bro, we're playing a game right now to maybe go to the playoffs. Let's focus up here, fellas.
See, I think these young boys, they used to losing a lot. You know, they didn't get to see that, especially if you're a Washington fan. It's been a grip. I mean, we was children when Washington was winning the Super Bowl. So,
Well,
you know,
I
a lot
was
of
a
these.
child. You guys were stomping at Sligo Middle School, right?
No, I was
like
8.
8 or 9 years old or
Yeah.
something like that.
92.
So
I was.
we were all repping Golden Eagles, Glen Haven
Yeah,
style.
flying high with them.
You
And
were
I'm
pushing
gonna
me
fly
over
high with them
recess,
Eagles
probably.
this Sunday too. You know that's what's up for damn sure.
Oh man, Cernock's in the building. What's
Hey,
going on,
what's up,
Cernock?
How you living? How you living? How you living?
Mark Nasty 21.
G-Man.
Oh,
Mark Nasty was in the in entertainers chat.
I like your brim.
This past game, man. We had some good conversation over there, man. Definitely like chopping it up with you, fam. Appreciate you tuning in.
Mr. Anthony, the Bluegrass Picker. What's going on, Anthony? How you doing, brother? Thank you for
A1 right
joining
there.
us,
What's up,
as
Anthony?
always. Kristaps.
Yeah, Porzingis in the building. What's up,
in
fam?
the
You already
building.
know. You already know. That's another one. Young bull.
Is that LeBron in the picture? That's not Kristaps.
Definitely not Kristaps. He ain't dunking like that.
Interesting.
No, that guy, man, always hurt. Porzingis, always hurt.
Yeah, man. That's tough.
Joel, what's going on, Joel? Thank you for
Hey.
joining us. And I
Beard
mean,
gang in the building. I like that jersey. I like that. You see the beard in the picture? Whew.
One
Flexing.
time.
oh man. And we also got a super chat coming in the building. I see you. I see you. I
OGR,
see
man.
you.
Another Giants content creator in the building one time. Definitely go to OGR Sports, man. Sub up, man. He got a lot of good content over there. We still got to make it over there and chop it up with OGR as well, too, man. But appreciate the super chat, bro.
Says, totally feel you guys on the importance of these games for sure. Kid Blue also in the building. What's going on,
what
brother?
up, Kid Blue?
He has
Kid
some
Blue just put out a
content
video
today.
this morning, man. Yeah, make
I
sure
was
to check
gonna
that
say, I
out.
saw that. He's the
Yeah, he has some good takes in there, man.
Another super chat in the building.
Oh, this ain't a super chat.
Oh,
This
yeah, that's
this
a
super
bet pay.
Super pay your debt.
Super
What
bet.
I tell you, he pays
And
up.
right.
My guy.
Johan always pays his debts.
That's right.
So you
That's
guys-
right.
Oh, so the Beard lost his bet. Authentic won his bet.
Yeah, it should be $40 coming to the channel today, but they did some little thing on the side for over the years.
Discounting that account.
Credit towards an auction or something crazy. Boy, I'd have been like, man, if you don't
Goes
pay
towards
my dub,
Authentic
cuz-
Beats. You can only buy my
Right.
beats with the 20 I lose.
Yeah, you-
Sorry, Johan.
right.
You
What?
better start rapping, Authentic. You better start
Right.
rapping, Johan.
Straight up, yo. Hey, Johan, I appreciate that, though, man. A real man pays his debt straight up. I like that. That's what's up, man. And he texted me right when it happened. He said, you got lucky on that fumble on the goal line, because I sure did.
Got, you know,
I don't really
luck
know if
plays
that's
into it.
a bold prediction, Drew Pierce. Eagles will beat Washington.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Depends if Alex Smith is at quarterback. But yeah, even the other kid looked good. So I mean, I think that's a pretty even matchup. I wonder what the spread is going to be on that game.
Bandcamp down low bets.
Yeah, right. You get 10 credits towards my Bandcamp if you lose the bet.
Stop skipping over our resident Cowboys fan in here, man.
Oh, I was
Oh,
going to
yeah.
go
There
back.
You know what
you
it is.
go.
You know what it is.
She texted me as soon as I was frying you guys up about your age. She's like, "You're not that much younger, buddy." I was like, "All right, I'm live right now. I can't text right now. Let me get out of here."
Hey, shout out to Monique, who I actually texted during the Cowboys game when the game was pretty close. And I said, yo, I need you to make that call to Jerry Jones right now. The Cowboys need to finish this game out. And she said, I got you.
And they did, showing that the last 3 quarters a lot different than the first quarter. That's for sure.
They did what they had to do. Appreciate that, Monique.
Waterfly says, Authentic, you want to pay me $20? Beard saved your channel from losing $20.
We'll just keep the 20 circling around here.
I know,
A
right?
hungry eagle in the sky.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate all the love and the support.
Y'all ready to get into this?
Let's do it.
Let's get it.
3 recaps to talk about. First one we're going to talk about is the one that doesn't involve any of our teams. Cowboys and the Eagles. Chuck up the deuces for the Philadelphia Eagles. They were officially eliminated from playoff contention with the blowout loss against the Cowboys, 37-17, dropping the Eagles to 4-10-1 on the year. After the first quarter, like I just mentioned, Philadelphia was looking great. They were up 14-3, courtesy of a Miles Sanders touchdown run and an 81-yard touchdown bomb between Jalen Hurts and Deshaun Jackson, capped off by an athletic flip into the end zone from Deshaun, trolling the secondary of the Cowboys. You can go ahead and say that was the high watermark of the Philadelphia Eagles season. After that first quarter, it was all Cowboys. Dallas's defense, shockingly, was the first unit this year that's made Jalen Hurts look like an actual rookie. 3 turnovers in the day for the boy, 2 interceptions, he lost a fumble. He did throw for 342 yards and a touchdown, but defensive end Randy Gregory, you got to give this guy props. He's an athletic, slightly undersized DN. He's exactly the kind of guy you need against athletic, mobile quarterback like Jalen Hurts. The dude had 1.5 sacks, 3 fumbles forced, and he knocked a pass down. Just a menace to society all day against Philadelphia's offensive line. He didn't just contain Hurts, he bullied the dude from start to finish. Dallas's offense started rolling in the second quarter, like we mentioned, ended up putting up that 37 points. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb combined 13 catches, 307 yards, 4 total touchdowns. So we know how talented that wide receiving core is. Andy Dalton's finally making good use of it the last 3 games. And Ezekiel Elliott, man, we've been giving you crap 16 weeks in a row. We got to mention he cracks the century mark for the first time all year. He had 19 for 105. So Zeke, congratulations on your 100. I saw you got your swag back. You're doing some dancing after your first downs. Big shout out. Authentik, Dallas comes in, cleans up Philadelphia, who had been the hot team coming into this game. Dallas is coming on a 2-game win streak, but everyone was talking about Philly because of Jalen Hurts' addition. Now that Dallas has won 3 games in a row against, albeit not great competition, do you think Dallas has a shorter offseason list now because of the way they've looked? Pre-sign Dak, draft defense, and just kind of roll from there? Do you see big moves needed for Dallas this offseason?
I don't think it's going to have to be a lot of big moves for Dallas, man. Really just trying to upgrade that defense. I mean, in this game, you see the wide receivers completely clicking. I mean, this is what you really want to see out of an offense. These are the kind of weapons I'm looking to get in New York, man, for a guy like Daniel Jones. I mean, because you see a guy who I pretty much said was cooked in Andy Dalton. For him to put up numbers like this in this game, 377 yards on 22 completions. That's the most important thing right there. So we're talking about big major plays here. CeeDee Lamb, yo, I was explaining CeeDee Lamb to my girl over the weekend, right? And I was like, you know how some dudes, like, they just tough, right? Because CeeDee Lamb's a skinny guy, right? He's not ripped when it comes to the weight room. He's more of a slender build. But he's just a strong rock. When you see him catch the ball and go across the middle, there's no fear there, man. And in this game, I just think the catches that he made, they were so pivotal, you know, such pivotal catches that he made in this game. And reminds me of something I saw about Fizz Vegas, man. Shout out to Fizz Vegas, who 6 days before the Buffalo Bills traded for Stephon Diggs, he made a video saying the Giants should trade for Stephon Diggs. And when I look at it right now, it would have been pretty much a first-round pick, so that would have been Andrew Thomas and some more. I'm totally on board for that because you need weapons like this, and Dallas has those kind of weapons. You know, Michael Gallup going to be on contract for another year. I think that's fantastic. You're going to be able to keep a guy like that on a rookie deal for 1 more year before you got to dip into free agency and see if you got to re-sign him. I mean, he's their leading receiver in this game, and that's a rarity this season, I feel like, for them. With, what was it, 6 catches for 121 yards?
Yeah, him and Amari both had 121 yards, yep.
Exactly, and Amari on 4 catches. Amari averaging 30 a catch.
They were moving the football at will.
Seriously, and I'll tell you a little bit about the conversation I had with Kyle Pizzle today. It was a little bit about wide receivers being drafted high. That's why I brought up the thing about Corey Davis being drafted high off air. And Amari Cooper's another guy. Amari Cooper's a guy that was drafted super high. I want to say he was drafted 5th by the Raiders, you know, and you don't see that a lot. But I think what they saw in these kind of players is they're the kind of immediate impact players that you could just plug into the lineup and immediately are ready for the NFL. So, you know, with all these teams in the NFC East looking like we're going to have pretty decent picks no matter what happens, you know, going into the draft, man, I think it's all about assessing the talent the proper way and bringing in the right weapons. You know, when it comes to Dallas, it looks like on the defensive side of the ball, their front 7 is pretty solid, you know. they really had problems in the back half of the defense, secondary issues, young cornerbacks, things like that. And I also think it's a scheme problem over there, too. They might want to try to bring in a new coach because Nolan hasn't been getting it done this year. But
right, with the talent they've had, because like you said, they've had high-performing guys who haven't played well this year, so that's not a bad idea. But go ahead, finish up.
100%, man. And I think that, with these last 3 games, granted, it's been against, not the greatest competition. They're showing you that this defense can ball. Teams have struggled playing against Jalen Hurts for these past 2 games, And there was a point in this game where I felt like it clicked, Offensively, Dallas just turned into a powerhouse somewhere around the middle of the game. And Jalen Hurts, they figured out a way to stop him. I was a little confident with this Philadelphia Eagles defense. I ain't gonna front. They came into this game second in the league in sacks. I thought that their front was really good. I thought that their back half of their defense could at least hold it down and tame this Cowboys offense to lower points, especially with a quarterback like Andy Dalton in the game. But the Cowboys are striding, man. I mean, across the board, they're balling out. You get a 100-yard game from Zeke, and your wide receiver core looks like the best wide receiving core in the NFL with numbers like this.
And we know their weapons are legit. I mean, they've been good all year. The offensive line, people talk about maybe needing to make additions in the offseason, but they do have big injuries. La'el Collins has been out all year. Tyron Smith's been out all year. They've had some injuries in the middle of the line. Zach Martin's been in and out of the lineup. The Beard, you talk about Dallas. If they do get these pieces back next year, they do re-sign Dak Prescott. That offense is looking like a 30-point-per-game type offense. If you're talking about the defensive side of the ball, we know you're the college football guy here, and you've seen some Dallas games. What position would you feature as far as high draft picks for Dallas if you're GMing them?
They already invested in, somebody as far as young talent in that secondary in Trayvon Diggs, who, missed a little bit of time this year, but he looks like he could be it. I think when you're in the secondary as a rookie, I think that's one of the harder positions to adjust in the NFL, in my opinion. So we'll see how he turns around, but I think they need some secondary help. Either if you want to go safety or corner, one of those directions is where I think Dallas would go defensively. Van Der Esch is a stud, but he kind of reminds me of Sean Lee. Like when he's on the field, he's a monster. You see him everywhere, right? But he's always getting hurt lately. It feels like he comes back and then gets hurt. And that's difficult to deal with. Because you got to have that linebacker position is getting more important every year in the NFL, I feel like.
And the versatility required to play it. You got to be able to do everything. Yeah,
for sure. And, defensive line-wise, they can use improvements throughout the entire defense, right? But I don't necessarily think that it's, a lot of teams you can kind of look at and be like, that's a glaring hole. Like they have some talent, whether it be young or injured, throughout their defense. It's just a matter of putting it all together the right way. If you look at Washington's defense, right? Like there's not a lot of new pieces. There are some pivotal new pieces, right? But the difference in the way that where they're putting these players in place this year as opposed to last year when they made the change defensively this year as far as the D coordinator goes, you see a crazy improvement. And I mean, a lot of that does have to do with Chase Young, and they brought in Kendall Fuller and Darby, who Darby's probably been one of the best free agent signings within our division for sure.
Signed for sure.
We got him for next to nothing. He's
gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid,
so that's why I would go with Dallas, but Zeke is a big part of that. To see him get that 100 yards, once that happens, you're going to see those receivers have these sort of games because it just opens everything up for them, But a lot of their success over these last 3 games has come over the ability to force turnovers. That's the biggest thing.
Which is something you can't really depend on week to week.
You can't. Right? And we know that as Washington fans because we've been depending on that literally. I mean, more so than anything. But they have come against teams that are prone to turn the ball over. And I want to say this too, though. That Jalen Hurts fumble was a bad call.
Yeah, that was a bad call.
That's a bad call. Yeah. Flat out. Bad call. Really bad call. Like his knee was obviously down.
I was talking to Monique about it too, and Monique was saying like, she saw the ball shift, and it did make me think about something because I was pretty confident in the call on Sunday being the wrong call. But his point, his hand was on the point of the ball. Even though it shifted, his hand was still on the point of the ball. And I think at that point you got to make a decision whether he still has possession. And I think that was the hardest thing. Like the ball kind of does squeaky move. His knee touches the ground almost simultaneously right after maybe. And I kind of want to like dig into the rule book to see what it says about a falling runner. Like if the ball just moves a little bit, is that a fumble? If his knee touches?
I mean, the Haskins one was a little bit different, but the one that he had where his ball's all the way back, the ball, like you said, it moves. It never leaves his palm, but it's clearly shifting as his arm comes forward. And the way
you think that was a fumble?
The way the announcers described the rule, they said if the ball moves, if it moves at all from in your palm to where it is and shifts, even if your arm's coming forward before it releases from your hand, that's considered a fumble, which was surprising to me.
And what I would question about that is the call any different when you're a runner as a passer? Because for a passer, what they're looking for is that empty hand. If you go back and the ball shifts and then you're pushing an empty hand and you're pushing the ball forward after it's been lost possession, I kind of get that. But for a runner to be running, with his hand on the point of the ball like this, and literally the ball kind of does maybe not even a 1-inch shift.
Yeah, just like a little movement.
Yeah, it just had a little bit of movement. I thought that was really interesting. Looking at it live, I thought they got the call wrong. I won't lie. But I mean, he had other turnovers in this game. It's clear with Philadelphia that Jalen Hurts is really the only weapon. They got the one bomb to Deshaun Jackson, which kind of makes the score look a little bit better. But I mean, they still got blown out in the second half of this game. Jalen Hurts, 400 yards total. He was their leading passer and rusher.
Yeah, where's Miles Sanders at again?
Come on.
Just
Miles Sanders
again.
They committed 15 carries for 57 yards, 3.8 yards per carry. He did have a touchdown. But Boston Scott had the early fumble, I think, too, didn't he? Or did that one get called back? I can't remember.
Oh, remember? I think they recovered it with their foot on the sideline.
But, not a great game, and only gave him 2 carries.
Yeah, you mentioned Awthentik, like they figured him out. I mean, we were waiting for the tape on Hurts to get circulated around the league. And of all teams, it was Dallas' defense in that second half. But it takes certain personnel. He put up big numbers, the Beard. But
I wouldn't say they figured him out.
I mean, Dallas figured him out. Dallas figured him out in this game. Because the first half was the adjustments they made at halftime completely made them blow this team out in the second half, and it wasn't even a game.
The last 3 quarters, they scored 3 points.
Yeah, but just to say that they figured him out, I mean, he had a bad game. He's going to, quarterback's going to have bad games.
I got you. So I don't want to generally swipe at that.
He was a lot. I mean, like, without Jalen Hurts, it probably would have been even worse.
I guess what I'm trying to say is an elite quarterback, which no one's saying Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback yet, but a quarterback on that level against a defense like Dallas, which is not good, would ball out 99 out of 100 times. And Jalen Hurts,
I think the Beard is saying, like, he thinks you're saying, like, figured out, like, for the rest of the year, like the verdict is out.
Yeah.
In this game, it was clear because this game was, 14-10? Philadelphia at one point, I want to say it was?
14-3. It was 14-3 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, and then you saw the shift. You literally saw the shift happen. And I think a lot of it had to do with how the offense started to play on the opposite side of the ball. Dallas made it a game where the Philadelphia Eagles were going to have to score a lot of points. So when they got in the red zone, that was very, very, very important for them to come away with points. The Eagles were 1 of 3 in the red zone in this game.
Yeah,
Can't do that.
And that's the part we're not talking about. We talk about how bad the Cowboys' defense has been all season. The Eagles' offense has been, atrocious too. Jalen Hurts injected some life into it, but the skill position players, receiver especially, just really not there right now.
Deshaun Jackson had that one catch, and then apparently he was sore.
Yeah, because he did a flip.
That's why I don't
flip in the end zone, old man. What do you think?
them hammies ain't the same no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, go for one good bomb. That's it.
He's the epitome of swag, though, man. Like, as soon as I saw that flip, I was like, "Good old Deshaun. Good to have you
Gotta
back
love
in the
it.
NFC East."
It was good to see that when we were watching the other game, obviously, but had Red Zone on the computers, and when we had saw that play had happened, I was like, I really wanted to see the pass itself because I wanted to see how Jalen Hurts was throwing that pass, and it was a nice pass. He hit him. He hit him on the money.
No, he didn't lead him. The pass was short.
It wasn't
he was just
Heineke,
wide open.
But it was a pretty good throw.
It was no Heineke. Whew, that boy was throwing some 40, 50-yard darts. But the one thing I liked about Jalen Hurts, though, I'll tell you this: the spiral was tight, but the throw was short.
I don't know if it was short.
When you got Deshaun Watson, you got it's like when you got Randy Moss. You got to lead those guys, man.
The Beard, was he an accurate quarterback at Oklahoma? Like, was he known to be a guy who just completed 70% plus of his passes?
I mean, yeah, but we now know that, them completion percentages in college don't mean nothing.
Who would you be referring
it's
to?
wild you say that. This is a good point he brought up here, okay? Because look, Colin Coward and them were talking about this today. Peter something, I can't remember his name, was on Colin Coward talking about
Peter
this
King?
exact thing. Now, Peter, is he an older white dude?
Peter King?
I think it's Peter King.
I'm not a big Peter King fan.
Gray hair.
I don't
now,
like him.
this is what Colin was saying.
Get out of here.
Quarterbacks who have low completion percentages in college don't translate. And they used Matthew Stafford as an underachiever example coming out of, what college did he come out of?
Georgia.
Matthew Stafford, Georgia. He was under 60% coming into the NFL, and that was the one thing that they had a problem with, when he was being scouted. And then they blamed that kind of like, his career being the way that it went. The guys who have the low completion percentage in college don't translate to being great quarterbacks in the NFL. And they made a comparison to Daniel Jones being very accurate in college.
I've heard that about that accuracy is something that is more difficult
Ooh,
to
that's a good
fix.
one right there too.
I mean,
They were talking about Josh Allen too.
He's been
Matt
he's been a
Stafford-
success story about guys coming out who were not accurate and then took a year and then because his first year, his rookie season, I believe Josh Allen was completing like 57%. He wasn't
Yeah,
good
he's
as
gotten
rookie.
better.
Was low, and this is the thing.
Lot
This is what they said about why he's gotten better is because of the offensive coordinator over there,
Yeah.
who they say is going to be first in line to get a head coaching job come 2021. So they're saying that Josh Allen has managed to be able to, improve his completion percentage without being that much more accurate than he was last year.
Interesting.
Stephon Diggs, man, I'm telling you that is they gave away, like, what was it, a first, fourth, fifth, and a seventh for Stephon
Yeah,
and
it
a
was
seventh?
a
It was
lot.
about 3 or 4 picks.
You
And
think
everyone's
they
like, oh my
regretting?
God, you could have had Justin Jefferson. Okay, but you don't even know they could have got Jalen Rager. You know what I mean?
I
They
don't.
could've
I
got
don't
Justin
necessarily. I don't
Jefferson.
necessarily think that they regret it. I think a lot of that had to do with.
Oh wait, who regretted?
I don't think Minnesota regrets it. Trading Stephon Diggs. Is that what
I
you were
think
asking?
that was a true win-win. That was a true win-win for both teams. Because
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson's cheap. He's going to be elite. He's probably already elite. The Bills needed a wide receiver right now for a playoff run, and Steph Diggs is, top 3 receiver. In the
Which a
NFL
little bit
this
of
year.
that is in hindsight now, because Jefferson balls out and has that historic year almost. And,
what happens
looks
if
really good.
Philadelphia picks Justin Jefferson and
Right.
it's really crazy. It's a lot easier to look at things after things have happened. You know what I'm saying? Matthew Stafford is like what, a career 60% completion percentage? 50.
I don't know.
Oh, he's
I
probably
wouldn't know.
mid-60s. Staff-
I think
I'll
I
tell
think
you
he's
this
I think
about
he's a
Matthew
60%
Stafford.
completion
He's
percentage.
the guy that literally be in the same positions as Eli Manning in regular season games, and he throws an interception all the time at the end. He's probably had more chances to win games at the end than any quarterback I've seen in the past 10 years.
He's also has the most comeback victories of any quarterback the last 5 years.
Which makes sense because he seems to be always down at the end of the game.
That's
you know?
that team, man.
So
yeah, they
Stafford
filled the bill around him.
Stafford first 2 seasons, 53% and then 59%. His last 3 seasons, the most recent one, 64, 64, 66. So he's gotten better, but it's taken him 10 years.
His career completion percentage is like right at 60% probably, right?
It's 62.5, but he hasn't been under 60 since 2013. So I mean, he has gotten better. He's had 4 of his first 5 were under 60. So not appreciably
Four
better.
of his first 5 were under 60.
And then his
And
last
they
7
stayed
in a
with
row
him,
have
and they
been over
paid him that
60.
bag still, too. I mean, I think it was a bit of a different game when he first came into the league. You could deal with that a little bit more, I'd say. Lower completion percentage. Now it's like the leash is very short for people not throwing accurate footballs in the NFL.
Tell you what, his stats don't look as good. I'm a Stafford fan.
He's
I
a
like
gamer
Matt
though.
Stafford.
That's the thing about Matt Stafford. Like there's some people you can look at the stats, right? But you gotta watch them play. And to me, Matthew Stafford's a gamer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that dude will go out there and play no matter what. Like, put it all out there. Like, he's a gamer. I don't know. I mean, I'm not
I'll say
necessarily
this.
saying I would go sign him. Don't get me
a lot
twisted.
of people from Washington want to bring in Stafford, too.
Yeah,
They
he's
think that's
another
the
one.
ideal guy.
He's another one people are talking about right
But
now.
I'll say this about Stafford. He's one of the quarterbacks who had crazy weapons and didn't win anything.
Stafford?
Yeah, Matthew Stafford.
What?
Talking about Megatron?
He's always
Yeah.
had good wide receivers.
Yeah,
Megatron.
Calvin Johnson.
Kenny Galladay's not a premier wide receiver in this league who's about to get that bag coming up here, or am
For
I
sure.
tripping?
Nah,
Go look
he's
at
had some
Kenny
good
Galladay's
numbers.
stats and look at Marvin Jones. He's been balling out too. You talking about people that catch a lot of touchdowns, yo. Marvin
it's more-
Jones,
we
he
know
had
it's
an
more than
interesting
offense,
stat
though.
too. He's never fumbled in the NFL one time. I know this is a wide receiver we talking about, but he's never fumbled.
16-inch hands,
No,
36-inch biceps.
no run game though, man. That's what.
No run game, and the defense has been historically the worst ever. I mean, it had 0-16 with Stafford at the helm, right? Am I
Yeah,
right?
it's just you gotta have a complete team, man. That's the thing that's crazy.
I
It's
hear
hard,
that.
but
I hear that, but he's the one guy that I'm telling you, he had some weapons. He had some opportunity. He had some playmakers on that squad. I'll go back to when they had Reggie Bush. I know they weren't using him right, but they did have a playmaker in Reggie Bush. And I forget the other running back who was over there during that time. I want to say it was it Theo Reddick maybe? Or they had another power back kind of who was pretty decent too at one time. And they got close to making the playoffs. I think he has one. Does he have one playoff appearance?
who's that? Matt Stafford?
Yeah.
I think he has one. Yeah,
He's a guy who passes the eye test for me, man. But,
Me
you know,
too.
when he definitely passed the eye test for me, but I don't know. Completion percentage does seem to be pretty important. But at the same time, you don't want to overinflate it because if you look at Kirk Cousins, his first couple years when he was with Washington, his completion percentage was in the high 60s. Y'all weren't winning games either. And he had decent weapons too. He had Pierre Garçon. I know these guys were aging a little bit, but I think the problem with Washington is they didn't commit to Kirk Cousins, which at the time, everything said you kind of had to. There was really no other options. You know, you kind of had to commit to him, franchise tag him, or pay him that bag. Now it's like
it's quite possibly one of the dumbest business football decisions of all time.
yeah.
Like you didn't want to pay him the money, but yet you paid him the money without securing him long term because they franchised him 3 times. The max they could franchise him, right? Is three the max?
I thought it was 2. I thought it was
2's
2.
the max, right? So
Yeah.
they basically paid him, the amount of money for those 2 years.
Oh, there's no
And
doubt.
just-
Kirk Cousins is a very rich man right now.
It gets
from
crazy.
Washington.
He
he's
he
getting
made. I mean, and that's why you saw like he never complained about the franchise tag either. Like that. That's all Bruce Allen. Bruce Allen completely fumbled that situation.
Yeah, you talk about a guy who like has that moxie, that thing at quarterback. Just listen to Kirk Cousins. When they mic him up, listen to him. He's pep talking everybody.
Good
He's
play.
telling
You're right,
everybody
man.
where to
We
go.
thought he was-
When he came back in the locker room after that one game and he said, "You like that? That's what you want to see out of your quarterback." You know what
But
I'm
he
saying?
just the only problem with Kirk Cousins is he just can't get it done when it matters.
Yeah, which
That's
I think
the only
when
problem,
you
really.
look at how what did Scotty say about Matthew Stafford in the first 4 years? It was under 60%. They gave Kirk Cousins like 3 full seasons, right? It's like 3-4 full seasons. He came in for RG3 for like 5 games that one year.
Yeah, I mean, when RG3's first year, I think it was definitely the Baltimore game, and then after that he played maybe 1 or 2 full games. But yeah, I don't know. That Kirk Cousins,
Yeah.
I want to forget about that Kirk Cousins tenure in Washington. That was tough, man. That was
We
tough.
wasted a lot of money on that. A lot of money.
And you in the
For
NFL now,
nothing.
and that was on the transition kind of like when quarterbacks was really getting that bag, like getting that big bag. Kirk Cousins kind of caught that, I'd say, a couple years after. Flacco caught that, I thought, too. And even when Eli re-signed, I was like, they paying Eli a major bag right now, And the quarterback position demands that much money. That's just what it is at this point. And I feel like you're going to have to pay somebody that, or you're going to have a rookie in your bag that can ball out, And Kirk Cousins, his time in Washington, I'm going off the top of my head, I think these were the numbers. It was 99 touchdowns and 55 interceptions. I'll take that all day. 65 plus completion percentage, I will take that all day. You can win around that if you just build around that and you take some time. And you kind of see it in Minnesota right now. Offensively, they have the team to win games. But that defense this year has just been
But isn't
awful.
it hard to build around that when you have to pay that much money to the quarterback?
I mean, they
That's
kind of showing
the
you here
age-old.
in Minnesota. I mean, they got one of the best running backs in the league right now over there. They got one of the best young wide receivers in the league over there in Justin Jefferson, and they have a solid possession receiver in Thielen.
Thielen might be more than
And the kid,
possession, man.
who's the tight end now? Smith?
Irv Smith
Irv
Jr.
Smith is balling.
And you
That's
know
how
his
you
record
build
is
it.
he's only in his second year, I believe.
Yeah, that's
out of
how you
Alabama.
build it. The quarterback is probably one of the guys who's more older on that whole offense. But defensively, the Vikings
It's
have
just
been just
bad.
allowing way too many points.
Yeah.
And that's why they're really not in the mix. And you see a team like Chicago still in the mix with a guy like Mitchell Trubisky because, they got the defense. They have that side of the ball. Kirk Cousins putting up 30, losing to Dallas.
And I
That's why
think
Kirk
that
Cousins' career record is 50-51.
I think that the
Sounds a little bit like Eli Manning.
the
Except for
the fact that these
ring,
quarterbacks,
Without the rings.
the fact that these quarterbacks are demanding that much money now is affecting the drafting of quarterbacks. Now, when you draft a quarterback, they're not drafting a quarterback. Before you draft a quarterback and you give them time, right? Now, they want to draft quarterbacks that can play now because then you get 4 or 5 years with that quarterback who can play now.
Cheap money.
Cheap money.
Yeah, look how easily they just released Haskins. They're like, what? Take the money, man. Whatever. It was nothing.
that's-
Though.
Yeah,
money
it's only a $4 million hit to them
Yeah.
Is that
next
it?
year.
Yeah.
$4 million to salary hit next year.
We would've
And
paid
if they
double that
release
amount
Alex
for that
Smith,
dude
it's
to kick
$10 million.
Yeah, which I think is more reason why the Eagles got to really hurry up and build this team around Jalen Hurts because I think he's showing you that he can ball. 400 plus yards.
Yeah.
He had another game I want to say right before this that was somewhere up there in total yardage, like almost 400 yards in a loss as well. They're continuously losing when this kid is putting up pretty big numbers. You look at the interceptions and the fumbles, it's because he's trying to make too many plays.
This is
And
true.
I got to give Daniel Jones his pass because a lot of people be like, oh, we need to get a new quarterback. They don't know what's going on with Daniel Jones really in New York right now. He is the offense. And when you look at Jalen Hurts in this game, it's mirror reflection of that. He literally is the offense. You take away Deshaun Jackson's big catch, nobody did nothing.
Yeah, the only problem with Jalen Hurts and building around him is that cap situation in Philadelphia is a complete nightmare.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're going to do it.
Howie Roseman or whatever is going to earn his money if he fixes that team up because they're badly
They're
over
probably
cap
in the
going into
worst,
next year.
in the absolute worst shape heading into the offseason than any other team in the NFL when it comes to salary caps.
Salary cap wise, yeah, but the players that are on that roster are good. The front four on that defense is solid. You can win games if they can get some people in the secondary to really finish these plays out. And offensively, we saw it when Jalen Hurts first came in and upset the Saints when they didn't have tape on him. You saw chemistry between him and the wide receivers. I think a guy like Travis Fulgham is a guy you could keep around, right? But all it's going to take for that team to look a lot different is one more weapon on offense. A true weapon, though, because you got Miles Sanders at running back who's been at the top of the league as far as yards per carry the whole year. Right? He's just not getting the carries. Build a little bit on that offensive line in the draft. Maybe make one move in free agency. If you got to eat that Carson Wentz contract, then just go ahead and eat it. Look at it like you paid that contract for Jalen Hurts and build around him. Get him a playmaker. They tried. Imagine if Jalen Reagor turned out to be what Justin Jefferson is.
And he still might. He's a talented wide receiver, and he's made some good plays.
If he was Justin Jefferson this year, like Awthentik's mentioning, though, Carson Wentz might have never got benched.
That's true.
If you want to put some of the issues on him.
Yeah, I mean, Carson Wentz got nobody to throw the ball to. And let's not forget, Alshon
He missed
Jeffrey.
a lot of time. He missed a lot of time. Don't forget that. Jalen Reagor did. He missed 8 weeks this season.
And Alshon Jeffrey wasn't there for the first half of the season either. So, I mean, we do know Carson Wentz was working with limited weapons. And the more and more I argue with people on Twitter about this, look, there is no quarterback winning in this league without weapons. There ain't one. There ain't one quarterback. Go look at, if you think it's Deshaun Watson, like I thought he was the one unicorn, go look at the numbers from the wide receivers over there. Will Fuller was putting up big numbers. He's been out for 3 games. And Brandon Cooks is no slouch. He's got more yards than any wide receiver on the New York Giants. I don't know about Washington. I know Terry McLaurin's had a pretty fantastic year here. He's been banged up for a couple games. I don't know what the stats look like. But there's no team winning with no weapons. That's just fact in the NFL.
You know what's nuts is Deshaun Watson has his season career high, in touchdown passes this season.
Yeah, and what's their record? 4-11?
4-11.
Yeah.
No, they might be 5-10.
They were 4 going into last week. Did they win last week?
Yeah, I think they won that.
Thank God they got the highest paid left tackle in NFL history, though. I'll tell you what, thank God they got him. Otherwise, they might only have 2 wins.
I'm trying to think who they was playing. I thought they took an L.
They played, oh my God. It was a close game. It was back and forth. Didn't they play Cincinnati?
Yes, it was. Cincinnati won.
Cincinnati won this past week, though. You sure it was Cincinnati?
On a little win streak.
Nah, I got to check that.
I got you.
You got it.
It was Cincinnati, 100%.
I thought the Texans lost this past weekend.
Kyle
They lost
No,
37-31.
That's right. They came back.
So you're looking at a quarterback now. They 4-11, and he's putting up those kind of numbers. Go look how many times he's been sacked. I guarantee you it's somewhere like 40, something crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, maybe more than that. Yeah, because you can't protect those kind of guys, especially when they mobile. So everybody thinking that you're just going to get a top 3 draft pick, bring in the quarterback, and your whole team is going to change. That don't happen. You got to put weapons around them. And I think with teams like Philadelphia, they kind of close. A team like Washington is really close because you got Terry McLaurin, you got Gibson, you keep a guy like McKissick, you really got players that you can build around. Go out there and get you another wide receiver. You know, Logan Thomas is a solid tight end in this league, and give him a full season of work where you're really targeting him. You're really going to see what kind of tight end he could be. He kind of reminds me of the Waller kid with the Raiders, that kind of vibe, making catches like a wide receiver. Who's an ex-quarterback, you know? So I think offensively you got some weapons. Maybe when Landon Collins comes back healthy, that helps out your secondary. You draft a few other guys, put some pieces in that secondary, linebacker core. Washington could really be right there. They right there right now with the way that this division's been going, you know? But they could really be there, have a winning record if you bring in those pieces.
Big shout out to AJ Ford for the $10 super chat. Says, appreciate the streams, fellas. Love the chill vibes for football fans and sports fans in general to come through and chill. So to all three of y'all, thank you. No,
Hey,
thank you,
that,
brother.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
It's
Thank
chill
you,
because
sir.
you guys are all here.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
any
real.
last words? The Cowboys live. Philadelphia dies. Moving on to week 17. Any last words, fellas?
Man, it's going to be interesting just seeing where this goes, bro. That's all I'm going to say
Hurts goes.
because
Dallas out of nowhere.
I'm looking at the Giants having to play this Dallas team. That offense looks really good, but, you know, I'm just wondering if our defense is a tier better than the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to have to be back in that zone trying to stop CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper this week, so.
2 tiers better, bro. Their defense is garbage. The Eagles
Hey,
can't stop
I don't know if you've been
anybody.
watching the New York Giants the last 2 weeks, bro. It's been disgusting. No pressure on the quarterback.
The thing I'll say about it though, the Ravens offense moves very differently than Dallas does. So if you guys had problems with the Ravens, which you clearly did, maybe you won't have as much with Dallas. We'll see.
Yeah, facts. And don't forget them Browns, man. Them Browns took care of business. Baker was 27 of 32. I mean, 5 passes hit the ground the whole entire 60 minutes.
Nate's talking. He's talking truth. He said Eagles have approximately 0 linebackers, which is the truth. I don't think I can name one of their linebackers. To be honest
Yeah,
with you, their
that's
D line
facts.
is sweet, but past their D line, it gets really ugly.
Yeah, I like the D-line.
Sports freaks, we're going to go ahead and jump into trivia early tonight. We're going to finish out with the Washington football team and the Giants recaps. But tonight, right this minute, we're going to kick you off some jazz flutes and some questions. I got 3. Oh, there we go. Authentic and the Beard present trivia.
Trivia.
You got to let
Got
me
3
get that Curtis Blow, bro.
Did I lose it now?
You got to let me get that. You
All
need
right.
the baritone for that, bro. You
Right,
need the
you just don't-
baritone, you know? You
Where
need,
does
you
it-
need
where
that
does-
baritone.
Where does the Beard sit in the, I don't even know what to call it, Authentic. You're the music guy. In the, is he a soprano, a baritone? Where does the Beard lie?
Probably
octave?
soprano. Yeah, probably soprano vibes. I don't know what his singing voice sound like. I'm going to keep it 100.
Let's start singing.
You know, some people God just didn't give them with that thing.
Nah, I actually can, you know,
Soprano,
I
you heard it right
I can do a little bit of everything singing, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just depends on, you know, what the song is.
We got to do an Authentic in the Beard karaoke night.
Like, I'm
one
more
night.
like a smooth sort of lounge, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
okay.
saying? Like a
My
lounge
man's
singer.
good-
So
Goodwill
somebody who
Hunting.
can sing who can't really sing sort of thing, you know what I'm saying?
So
Not
you're
at
Goodwill
all.
Hunting and Andrea Bocelli. And let's just go ahead and, can you paint too? You're probably like a Van Gogh, right? You're an artist.
I'm
I mean,
say
you
a
saw
little
me
Axl
draw.
Rose.
You saw me draw the Tribe Called Quest album cover, man.
That-
I'm going to give you a lot of props. Can you remember the name of it, though, since it was a trivia question?
I don't remember the name of it.
Low
now.
end
Low End
theory.
Theory.
Low end theory. Okay,
Start
my
at
bad.
-1.
Yeah.
All right, hey, chat. I got 3 questions for the boys tonight. 2 football questions, 1 hip-hop question. We got chalkboards. Shout out Gretzel hooking us up. The chat, if you guys know the answers, feel free to drop it in there. If you know it, you're going to beat them to it. And if they don't know it, they're going to try to steal your answer. The Beard, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Authentic, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question number 1. After this debacle of a weekend for the NFC East, it is a guarantee that our representative in the playoffs will enter with a losing record. The best we can have is a 7-9 team. We talked about this a couple times during the season. The 2014 Carolina Panthers were the most recent team to make the playoffs with a losing record. They did win their first game, the wild card game. I want to know the team they beat in the 2014 wild card game. And I'll give you this hint, the Beard, before you get upset. I'll give you the starting quarterback. Ryan Lindley was the starting quarterback for this team.
I don't like that. I don't like that hint at all, bro.
Look, he knew
You
he
want to know
could
the
give
backup?
us that.
I'll tell you the
because-
backup. The backup was Drew Stanton.
Oh,
Does that help at
okay.
all? Probably
yeah, that
not.
helps a little bit.
You know it's an NFC team. You know it wasn't your 2 teams. That narrows it down to about 12 squads. 20 seconds on the clock. Who did the 2014 Carolina Panthers beat in their wild card appearance as a losing team?
I'm probably not going to get this one right, but I'm ready.
The Beard,
Same time, game time.
Same time, game time. Flip him,
I
flip him.
saw his answer before he even showed
Cowboys, Arizona. The Beard takes the point. It is the Arizona Cardinals. Carson
Damn,
Palmer
that's a
was
good
the
one.
starting quarterback that season. Got knocked out in about week 12. Brought in, who did I just say?
it. Lindley.
Drew Stanton. Drew Stanton got hurt, and then they brought in Ryan Lindley. He was their third string dude. So not really an impressive win for Carolina, but a win nonetheless.
Hey, and you know what might happen too? There's, Jared Goff got that thumb surgery going into this must-win game. If they make the playoffs, that's
Did
just.
you text Johan that? Because he texted me that at work today, and I was like, all right, I mean, pipe dreams here. We can have it, but whatever. We'll see. I want to play a good team anyway first week to show the people that we're not jokes. That's why I know about it.
It'll probably be Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
Bring it. Hey, the dude's
Hey,
immobile.
don't
I
forget
love
this
Chase
Saturday
Young.
too, man. We're gonna be doing the trivia show. We're gonna be doing Jeopardy style trivia show. Awthentik's team versus the Beards team with my man Scotty holding down on some Alex Trebek vibes. So yeah, definitely check us out. It'll be at 8:00 on Saturday. Got some guests lined up. We're gonna make some announcements on Twitter this week. Some of y'all already got some hints, but we don't got confirmations yet. So I don't think y'all got the full deal yet. So we'll let y'all know in the morning for show.
Faux show. Going to question number 2. The Beard has a 1-0 advantage. This is a current modern day, modern week, modern minute question. Name the 3 teams currently in the NFL with a 12-3 record going to week 17. 3 teams are sitting at 12-3. You have 30 seconds. I need all 3 of them. Waterfly, I'm assuming it's 8 p.m. I hope it's 8 p.m. Saturday mornings, I don't know if I'm going to be up that early. I might. The dogs don't let me sleep. Yeah, Mahomes is going to be a guest on the show 2026 or 2027. We haven't quite nailed down the year yet, but he will be here. All right. You guys both ready?
Can you give
Glock
me the
must be
question
in
one
the
more
building.
time?
Yeah, there's 3 teams right now in the NFL that have a 12-3 record. I need all 3 of them.
All right. We
Oh.
I think he saw my board a little bit.
Oh. Yeah, he has the better advantage. He's looking right at you.
He's showing me his answers though on the screen.
Oh. It's usually not that. Okay.
That's the 3rd time he said that to Beard. So you need to go ahead and open up these ear holes. Crazy guy. All right, flip them. Same time, game time.
I think I got one of these incorrect. Oh, I do. But I think
Yes.
he might too.
Green Bay, Bills, Pittsburgh. The Beard got it again. He got 3 out of 3. Green Bay is the 3rd team. The Chiefs, I believe, are 13-2 right now.
One,
That's a good
right?
one.
They only lost 1, right?
So they're 14-1.
I could be
Yeah,
mistaken.
we're going into week 17.
Just the Raiders.
So 15 games total. Down 2-0. Can't even get a win here. Ugh.
Maybe you can.
Oh, bonus
Question number
points.
3, hip hop. I don't think you can. There's only one answer here. Maybe I can come up with the second one.
Yeah, really.
There might be one to come out of this one that I can come up with. I might ask this question a little differently to secure you a bonus question because we don't need the Beard winner.
They said the Beard's 100% reading the chat.
Always
said
and
that?
forever.
I don't have the
You
chat.
got the reflective glasses.
I have
on, so.
83 comments right now that have been unseen.
Nate, my
Guys,
maths
I
is
just good sometimes.
I
I know it's
need-
hard to believe. 'Cause I sound crazy 90% of the time, but I'm actually okay. I promise.
We trust you. We trust you.
We
I need
trust
the
you.
name of this 2011 collaborative album between Jay-Z and Kanye West. I need the name of it. Studio album released in 2011, released by Rockefeller, Rock Nation, and Def Jam Recordings. It's not featuring them. They're both on it. It's their album. Jay-Z,
It's a
Kanye
cupcake album.
West. Same time, game time. Let's flip them. Watch the Throne. You guys are both correct. Get him. WTT. Stupid, easy question. The Beard, 3 for 3. Nice night, my guy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Solid,
Nice
man.
night
Thank
for
you,
my
guys.
friend.
100% completion percentage.
I did give the guys a disclaimer. I was in my busy office today, so the questions are a little bit cupcake-ish, but I'm glad that the Beard knocked them all out. Good job.
I liked it. I thought they were good. The playoff one for who
That was a
Carolina
good
beat,
one.
that was a good one. And the 3 teams, I thought that was a good one too.
You know what? I'm gonna be
I'm
honest
saving
with
all
you.
the good ones for Saturday.
I thought
Sir.
you were gonna give me the question of I thought this question was coming today was who was the running back that Alvin Kamara tied with the most touchdowns in one single game with 6.
It's a running back?
It is a running back.
Decade?
20s.
So this year?
No, 1920s.
Probably some guy like,
Spike don't
come
care.
on, man. 1920.
He said, "Come on, man."
I
Play
think
it again, the beard. Play
it was
that,
a- it was-
that soundbite.
it was a brother. It was a gentleman by the name of
You said a brother?
Spike don't care.
You said a brother? Their brothers playing NFL football in the 1920s? Right, come on, man. We're falling apart on this show.
It was a gentleman named Eddie Nevers, I believe. Ernie Nevers.
And
I think that
Lax
was his
knew
name.
that?
He is reading that
Yo.
chat though right now.
No, I'm
Lax
not. I have 100 comments now, unseen. Ernie
say that, I don't know
Nevers.
what you mean when you
And
say
you want to
that.
know something crazy about that? Is he also, in that same game, broke the record for most points ever scored in a game because he also kicked every single extra point for the touchdowns that he scored.
Never
that's
say
gangster.
nevers. That's what they say.
Never say never.
Never say nevers.
So I'm going to go to the chat now. It's Jim Thorpe, Sayers.
Yeah, 1920s, you're going to stump me on all that. I couldn't name one football player. Hey,
Not one, bro.
I got to look at this bet real quick. Waterfly, where did it go? There we go, buddy.
I did want to see that. Yeah.
You're going to give me that 2-1 that Heineke's going to throw for 302 touchdowns? I will take that bet. I will take that bet. Let's do it at $10. So I'll give you 20 if he does. You give me 10. And I want a Cash App, too. I don't want it on the YouTube channel, man. You got to send that to me directly.
Monique said it's trivia at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. Come on, you know Awthentik very well, Monique.
On a Saturday?
So on a Saturday,
Might still be up. Might still be up. That's the one thing we never.
Hopefully,
Good
I'm
cow.
celebrating a Notre Dame upset of Alabama.
Hopefully, man. Best of luck to you with that.
I don't know about that one. My
Did
friend.
you
We'll
see what the
we'll
point
we'll
spread is?
14.5.
I think it's 19.5.
Let's take Notre Dame. Let's go to Capital One Center on Friday night and make that bet. I'm with you, man. Let's put 50 on it each.
Hey.
We should take them straight up, too. Then we'll really cash out. All right. Let's take our quick commercial break. We're going to come back. We still got to recap the Washington football teamers and the New York Giants. Hang tight, chat. We're going to be back in about 19 seconds.
Expecting your lineup to be the only for it to turn into some. Well, we can help you rectify that situation. Come chop it up with your boys, Awthentik and the Beard. The best division in football. The best division in football. Streaming live every Tuesday, every Thursday at 7 p.m.
Streaming live. Next recap, we're going to get into the Beards Washington football teamers. Had a chance to clinch the division after Giants lost early. They squandered the chance. A lot of us in the DMV have been used to that from the Washington football teamers. Hurts nonetheless. They fell to the Carolina Panthers. It was 20-13. Quarterback, former Washington quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. He did start the football game, compiled the worst 3 quarters of football you might ever see in your life from a professional football player. Looked atrocious. 154 passing yards, 2 interceptions. He also lost a fumble to go along with litany of bad reads, inaccurate passes, and sacks taken at inopportune times. Ron Rivera let him come out in the third quarter, played a couple more drives. He said, you know what? I've seen enough. Insert Tyler? Something. I don't know his first name.
Taylor
Heineke. Not Heineken. Heineke. This dude ready to ball. He's been studying in the play call room. My man's been watching tape. He knew what he was doing. Came out. He was able to move the ball down the field. Carolina was playing somewhat of a soft defense. They were up 20-0, 20-3, but Heineke wasn't just dumping the ball off. He was throwing it deep. He was accurate. His receivers weren't making catches for him, but he did lead a touchdown drive, a couple scoring drives. Scored at the very end, a little bit over a minute to go. Washington had a chance to kick an onside kick to get the ball back to tie the game. Did not recover the onside kick. Fall to Carolina. Blew the chance. J.D. McKissick, got to give this dude a shout out. He caught that Taylor Heineke 30-yard touchdown pass. Another great day for him. 8 catches, 77 yards, and the aforementioned touchdown. Clearly Washington's best receiver when McLaurin's not in the game. Antonio Gibson, running back for Washington. He balled out in the first couple quarters. 10 carries, 61 yards. They were running the ball effectively. He was running over people. Washington goes into this early hole with Haskins just muddling everything up back there. We stopped running the football. We know the Beard's not a big Scott Turner fan as far as play calling. That could have been why. The bright spot, though, in Washington's defense and team this year, obviously rookie Chase Young. The guy's a Hall of Fame talent. My friends, my non-Washington fans text me during the game and say it. My own eyes see it. I believe it to be true. The man had 4 tackles. He had a tackle for loss, had a sack, forced fumble. He also had a pass knocked down that turned into an interception. The dude's a disruptor all over the field, anywhere he is. He's just a pleasure to watch. Washington defense played okay. Like I said, the offense couldn't really do anything for the first 3 quarters, and that was that. The Beard, the biggest news from this game took place 24 hours after the game was over. Washington football team released second-year quarterback, first-round pick Dwayne Haskins. He is now not on our team anymore. Apparently, this has been something we debated pre-show. What we heard, and then we didn't hear, and then we heard again. Dwayne Haskins came off the football field, refused to speak to the media, got in his car, drove home, was unreachable by Washington team personnel, finally was able to take a phone call, said, okay, I'll do a Zoom chat with the media. If there was any straws left, that was the last straw in Ron Rivera's book, if you ask me. The Beard, give me a little bit about the game, and then I want to hear about Haskins. How you feel about the release? Was it timely? Was it late? Was it too early? Tell me all about your feelings, man. Why don't you get that cough out?
As far as I had to clear my throat before this one. As far as that the game goes, it was just it was hard to watch. It really was. I mean, obviously Haskins, this was his chance, his opportunity, and he was nowhere near what he needed to be in order to win the game for the team or salvage his time here in Washington. I'm Antonio Gibson. I was so glad to see him, not just see him on the field, but the way he was running the ball. You could just see the difference in the way that the offense operates when Antonio Gibson is in the game. It's just, I don't know if they stopped giving him the ball because of the score. I don't know if they stopped giving him the ball because they didn't want to overuse him on the return from injury. But at 10 carries and getting 61 yards, and they were, even in the beginning, they figured that Washington was probably going to be running the ball, and they couldn't stop the run. So I just think that it's very consistent with the rest of the year of Scott Turner abandons the run game way too early. And yes, it's unfortunate because we have been down double digits in 11 of our 15 games this season, to start the game. So it's just what can you do? It's super difficult. And without Terry McLaurin, it just wasn't, the offense wasn't there. And Dwayne Haskins was trying to force passes that he shouldn't have been trying to force. He didn't take the ball down and try to run with it when he should have, and he did when he shouldn't have. So it was a mess to begin with. As far as them taking him out,
are you putting a lot of you're spreading the blame out here? You're not going to put most of it on Haskins for the offensive performance in the first half?
No, it was on Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins turned the ball over. You can't turn the ball over and expect to win the football game.
And even the plays he didn't turn it over. I mean, he was missing players, accuracy bad, rolling out.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody else. I don't know why you thought I was putting the blame on anybody else, because I literally said Dwayne Haskins is the,
You were spreading it around a little bit, talking about not committing to the running game, which when you're down 17 at the half, that's we all know that.
And I think that's too early to abandon the run game, because it wasn't even just after the half. Although Antonio Gibson only touched the ball once in the second half, 17 points, you could still run the ball. You know what I'm saying?
The other thing too, don't forget about the second half turnover to start the third quarter. Around the middle, I want to say, of the third quarter was when Teddy Bridgewater got the interception. He got the tipped interception, and he had the strip sack fumble that happened. The game seemed way out of reach at 20-3 with them in the red zone threatening. And I think, once you yoke Dwayne Haskins, you kind of want to see what the other kid has. Mm-hmm. So relying on a running game when you got this new quarterback in here who quite possibly might be playing in week 17, I think it also had a lot to do with that too, seeing where does this kid stand? I mean, as soon as he came in the game, they literally attack down the field, and you get a drop from, was that Cam
Sims on the deep pass.
You know, it's like, come on, man. The team's not helping the quarterbacks around them, obviously. But I think the main problem here is very glaring, and it's
Dwayne Haskins. But also, you have to remember too that the big turning point in the game was the Steven Sims mishap on the punt return.
That was the first one of the game, but I mean it was 7-0 after that happened, so it wasn't over by any means. Haskins had a chance to bring us back. That was the first quarter, right?
Yeah, but I mean, in essence, that was a big play too, and
it's a big play, but not a major turning point in the game. I mean, you can go down 7-0 and climb, especially with y'all defense is playing so well. It's crazy. Like, Chase Young is just like, he reminds me of Hall of Famer type edge rushers, you know? He's the kind of guy who's coming in making those splash plays like a Khalil Mack or like a Von Miller, where you just like, man, we got to go up against that guy.
But like you said, your defense can only be as elite as your offense allows it to be, and our offense the last 2 weeks has been not. We make the Giants look like the 07 Patriots. Our offense has been so bad.
Our offense in general hasn't been good since the Dallas game, really.
Yeah.
I mean, since Alex Smith has taken the field as a healthy quarterback. I mean, Heineke looked good in the fourth quarter, but that dude's probably going to be an interception machine. Let's get honest. His arm
he made a lot of great plays, and the quickness of the playmaking that he did was what I think I was most impressive with. Like, everything seemed a lot quicker than it did with Dwayne Haskins. But he got lucky, too, on like 2 or 3 plays that they dropped the interception on. Clear interceptions that they just dropped.
That's
but
what you worry about
defensively,
with the practice squad guys, too. Like, the arm strength clearly is not there for Heineke. And if he keeps forcing he had to pass it the entire time, which was, tough for him to do, obviously, when that they know you're going to pass it. But that arm strength not there, you're more liable to throw interceptions.
I mean, he threw a nice pass on the one that Cam Sims dropped.
And the touchdown one, he threw a nice pass, but it didn't show arm strength. I do agree with you. He does look a bit Colt McCoy-ish, a little bit smaller stature, but I'd say he's got a bit of a stronger arm than a guy like Colt McCoy. I think he can get it done. I really do, man. I really think he can get it done.
And if Alex Smith isn't healthy, there's no way they're going to play him, because we all know how he is when he's not healthy. Shout out to Matt Emery for the $5 super chat. Says, I also read that none of these coaches wanted to draft Haskins, but ownership wanted him. Yeah, that's the story.
I mean, you can see it now. Like, Dwayne Haskins walk into the room, I'm not drafting him. You see it in the character. You see it in the personality. This is a guy who repeatedly made mistakes here. They talked about him not being deep into the playbook at the beginning of the year. And off camera, I talked to the Beard about this. During the game, I think I talked to you about this, that I thought it was politics, because my cousin played ball for the Washington football team, and a lot of politics played into the reason why he ended up being released. And I think with Dwayne Haskins, the reason why you see a guy like Taylor Heineke come off the bench and actually look good, it's got a lot to do with the stock in the draft pick. It's where he was drafted, and they're like, they want to make it work, but also if it's not going to work, they want to get it out of here fast, because I mean, it's clear this kid plays better ball than Dwayne Haskins. I mean, Dwayne Haskins, when you look at the statistics, they're beyond bad for the NFL this year. They're historically bad stats. He's sitting there somewhere like number 38 as far as quarterbacks go in the NFL.
What up, Sebastian? Good to see you, bro. But you're 100% right, Awthentik. The thing that I've noticed about Washington's offense this year, it's not a dynamic offense where it requires a lot of your quarterback. You don't need a quarterback that has a big arm. He doesn't have to make a whole lot of throws. Washington's offense at its best is a running offense. Maybe a couple bootlegs, short passes, but you don't need a dynamic quarterback, which is why Alex Smith has had success. The fact Dwayne Haskins couldn't even get that done, and then you bring in a practice squad guy who's never even really played, and he can move the ball like that's really an indictment of Dwayne Haskins and what he's not been doing off the field for Washington.
Yeah, and it was an immediate spark when that kid got in the game. And like you said, I mean, Alex Smith has done good things in this offense. You saw a couple good games there. And I do agree with the Beard when he said, his health kind of hit a wall this year, where it's like, now it's like, can he get any better in this season? Because he's playing banged up. That calf is clearly an issue here. But when Alex Smith came in, people were like, first 2 games, you're kind of like, he's kind of gimping around out there. Third game, I'm like, this dude can win y'all games. This looked like where the Washington football team had left off when they were like 6-2, 7-2, or whatever it was, 6-3, when he had got hurt the first time around. And I mean, it just shows, man, that, a guy like Dwayne Haskins, given the amount of opportunities that he was given, I agree with Sabrina, who said this in the chat earlier. Like, surprised that they didn't make the move after the strip club party because they watch him every day in practice and they know he ain't the dude.
I was going to bring that up. So, Beard, let me pose that question to you, my guy. After the strip club incident last weekend, coming off the loss, no mask, hanging out with strippers, clearly not caring about the success of his football team, the report, some insiders have said Ron Rivera wanted to cut him that night. They wanted him out of the building that night. Talked out of it, said we need a quarterback. We're on a playoff run, so we decided to stick with him. Obviously, after this performance and the after-game debacle of not talking to the media, they let him go. Do you think they should have cut him after last week?
I mean, if you look at it in hindsight, yeah, it's easy to say that they probably should have cut him at,
But what do you
that
think?
point.
What do you think?
What about not hindsight?
I think that
ready.
Ron Rivera honestly thought that at that point in time he gave them the best chance to win the football game. I don't think that he had saw enough of Heineke to confidently make the move.
Is that an indictment of Ron Rivera?
Otherwise he would have done it.
No bull.
Is that an indictment of Ron Rivera, though? This not only did they start Haskins after they had to, this dude was named starter beginning of the season and named a captain.
Yeah.
Who what?
I mean, he might have done all the right things in the beginning, and then just like the reports say, he just stopped doing it all.
I find that hard to believe, man.
I don't know because I'm not there, so I have no idea.
I would completely rule that out. Because
Completely
look,
rule all what out?
About him being ready at the beginning of the year. Completely rule that out. It was week 6 or something like that. Week 7, they said the other 2 quarterbacks know the playbook better than the guy that we named the starter. They didn't just say one. They didn't say Alex Smith knows the playbook better, or they didn't say, oh, Kyle Allen has an advantage because he came from Carolina where we ran this same system. They said both quarterbacks know this playbook better than our starter, and they benched him. There was clearly turmoil within the organization with Dan Snyder or whoever else is at the top of that organization, with Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera knowing that ain't his guy. He knew that. And now you see it. They probably gave him that's the straw that broke the camel's back. They're like, man, we'll give him one more opportunity. But I bet you I said this 2-3 weeks ago, Dwayne Haskins was not going to be back. I knew he would play a little bit because barring an injury or just trying to see if Washington was knocked out of the playoff picture just to kind of maybe boost his stock if he could ball out. But man, this is a clear-cut bozo bonehead. And honestly, I feel no sympathy for him at all. You know, Colin Cowherd today on The Herd, he said down to Dwayne. And that's exactly what it is. You wasted a first pick on a guy who was not the guy. And I don't know where the pressure came from. I know it didn't come from Ron Rivera. Who was the coach that was there last year? Jay Gruden. We know it didn't come from him. That wasn't his guy.
Dan Snyder made the pick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
How backwards is your organization when a non-football guy is making your first-round draft picks?
Yeah, but we already knew that about Dan Snyder in that part of the organization.
This is why if I'm a Washington football team fan, I don't put no stock in a guy that the GM or the owner goes out and drafts over your GM. And if you know he's not the guy, if you knew that, why would you put so much stake in a guy like this? Literally, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
As a fan standpoint, I'll tell you why it was for me, because my whole entire life as a fan of a Washington football team fan has been nothing but turmoil at the position, right? We drafted RG3, and you know how much of a RG3 guy I was. I was a huge RG3 guy.
Yeah.
I, to this day, think he kind of got a raw deal, and it's unfortunate the injury combination with the way that the whole play calling situation went down, him not wanting to run the ball anymore and wanting to be a pocket passer. The way it all ended was unfortunate. And so, then after that, you had the whole Kirk Cousins situation where, it's like, you see this talent. You see that Kirk Cousins can do good things, but can't win the game when it matters. And now you're just you feel like you're all the way back again into this point where it's just you have this, top 15 draft pick, and you see a guy who is, performed really well at Ohio State, which is, it's one of the toughest competitive schools in college football. You're playing against other Big Ten schools who, typically have NFL caliber talent on the defensive side of the football, just like the SEC. And so you draft a guy like that at 15, and after a lifetime of quarterback turmoil and disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, you're naive. You're naive to the fact that he's going to be good. This has to work, right? Like that's the feeling that I had because I've been let down year after year after year after year.
Yeah, but I think that the thing for Washington fans that really got on my nerves about Washington fans is when y'all had a sign of a good quarterback, y'all didn't put this kind of faith in him. People had more faith in Haskins, Kirk Cousins. People had more faith in Dwayne Haskins and RG3 over Kirk Cousins. People wanted Kirk Cousins out of here in Washington.
Because Kirk Cousins couldn't win the game.
Yeah, but this is a case of, I believe it was Janet Jackson who said it over a Jay Dilla beat that you don't know what you got until it's gone.
But what has Kirk Cousins done since he left? He hasn't done anything.
He's
talked
balling
about
out with Minnesota.
Yeah, he's balling out. He's putting up
defense.
stats. But what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. Like winning the football games is what matters. He could not win the game.
So anybody.
How many wins would Washington have right now with
Oh,
Kirk
wait,
Cousins
Scotty,
on
right
this
before we
team?
get to that, because I just want to put a wrap on that Minnesota Vikings thing. Are we saying that Minnesota Vikings right now aren't winning games because of Kirk Cousins?
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, you're saying what has he done? Like he's not balling out.
I mean, he hasn't won a playoff game. He's not winning the playoff game. He hasn't won a Super Bowl. He can't win the big game. It didn't work
I think
in
that,
Washington.
To me, and this is my opinion. That's what's wrong with a lot of fans. He didn't win the big game. He didn't win this. Man, I'll take Tony Romo all day over any quarterback y'all have had in the past. I don't care how many playoff games he won or what snap he fumbled. I don't care. He balled out in the regular season. He gave his team an opportunity to win. NFL is not some NBA thing where you play in 100 games and you get to gauge which teams are really, really, really the best. It's really about who's playing hot. Until this day, Eli Manning has the best statistics of a regular season and a playoff run together combined ever. Okay? And we didn't have Eli Manning be ever be at the height of an Aaron Rodgers where we're like, that's our Super Bowl quarterback. That's not how football works. And when you, like I just said, you don't know what you got until it's gone. Because right now, when you got a guy like Dwayne Haskins who has to be at the helm, I remember when Kirk Cousins came off the bench for RG3, I was like, oh, this boy could play.
But this is the problem though, is that it would have required us to pay him that contract that he got from Minnesota. It was difficult to pay that money to a quarterback who wasn't winning the games.
We can afford it right now.
We could afford it right now, but we couldn't back then.
Our defense
you know what I'm
wasn't
saying?
like it was then either. I think Kirk Cousins, with this defense and special teams Washington has, I think this would be 11.
Yeah, but this team,
Oh my
that
God,
he
a
didn't
lot
have
better.
this team when he was here.
Well, he didn't say
and we
that. He
wouldn't
didn't
be.
say that.
I understand
That's what
that.
I'm saying.
But
If we had signed him to the long-term deal and made all these great draft choices like we
Yep.
had, because right now we got a cheap but talented roster, and we had signed Kirk Cousins, he'd be on the 5th year, some 5-year, $200 million deal.
Yup.
Washington would be an 11-win football team.
And
But you
had
could
you have
say
lost
that-
and had you have lost games like you did last season with Kirk Cousins at the helm, you're looking at another first-round pick to give him another weapon in the first round.
But this is all like what ifs, right? But at that point in time, when Kirk Cousins, first of all, they botched that whole deal because they gave him that franchise tag back-to-back years, and
got
they
sensitive.
paid him all that money,
And he didn't want to come back.
and he
then.
didn't want to come back.
For
So
sure, for
it's
sure,
like
for sure.
it's like we're there's nothing we can do at that point.
It's
Like
20 I got
if
you.
we had Kirk Cousins right now on this team, would we be a better team? Absolutely, 100%.
100%.
But at that point in time.
And then you went and gave Alex Smith like $20 million.
Yeah, which made no sense at that point in time because it was crazy because you didn't want to pay Kirk Cousins the money.
I don't want you to think we're attacking you because
No,
you're
I
a
know that.
Washington.
I know that. I know
Because you're a
that.
Washington fan. You're not the GM.
Yeah.
Nobody up on this panel is a GM, and I'll never fake the funk like I'm a GM.
I used to be a GM.
But let's
like
keep it
a
100.
couple
Let's
years
keep
back
it
when I got
100 while
fired.
we hear about the bad moves that Washington is continuously making at quarterback.
All
My point was about that whole thing was when y'all had the guy, y'all did not support him. Even when I went on Rev T's channel today, this dude was Rev T's co-host literally said that they should bring in Jameis Winston as a quarterback, the next quarterback to be for Washington football teams, because you know that a lot of Washington football fans do get hung up on the African-American quarterback. That's one thing, right?
Chalk
And
the city,
RG3,
baby.
because Doug Williams did his thing here and got y'all a chip. When people didn't expect that to happen, that was the replacements team and all that, right? So when you have a guy who is showing you the signs, I mean, I'm invested in a guy like Daniel Jones, who I feel like shows me with my eyes that he can get it done. If he fails, he fails. I'm not going to put my whole stock behind Daniel Jones.
And that's the problem that I made with Dwayne Haskins.
Most definitely. And here's the other thing. I scouted these guys when they came out of college. I still got the note in my phone here. It was from May 25th when I updated it. And I wrote down what I thought these quarterbacks did good and what these quarterbacks did bad. Short hitch throws, inaccurate. Outside the sticks, inaccurate. This is what I was saying about Dwayne Haskins. Just looking at the tape, I said that his wide receivers take short routes and score on them. Why are we even invested in a guy like this? I think because New York is such a classy organization that they wouldn't put no bozo at the helmet to be our franchise quarterback. They literally, when he came in for his meeting, is probably when he lost his chance of being drafted by the New York Giants, because going into that draft, everybody was saying the Giants were going to take Dwayne Haskins. I even went back and looked at people's draft reactions, like Entertainer and all these other people. When we drafted Daniel Jones, they were upset that it wasn't Dwayne Haskins or Josh Allen, which that's looking really good over there now, you know? And why is it looking good over there? Because they brought in the right playmaker.
It's true. Let's say real quick, we got to get to a super chat from a while ago we missed. Justin asked, what do you guys want for Washington football team? He said WTF. It feels like WTF. But Washington football team's quarterback situation moving on. The Beard, we'll start with you. You want a free agent? You want a draft pick? You want to roll with Kyle Allen, Alex Smith? How do you feel?
To be 100% honest with you,
Dwayne Haskins is available if you want to sign him.
To be 100% honest with you, I'm not sure. I don't know. I have to evaluate the situation after the season, because in my opinion right now, like, I don't know. There's too much film to watch on. I don't know where we're gonna be drafting. I don't know what teams are gonna be releasing what quarterbacks. The free agent list of quarterbacks is kind of short, and there's not a lot of people on there. Like, it's gonna have to be you don't know if Alex Smith is gonna retire. You don't know what the turnaround time is going to be on Kyle Allen's injury. So, like, I don't want to make the same mistake that I made with Dwayne Haskins and get emotionally attached into zoning in on one quarterback, and that's who we have to have for this next season moving forward. I need to really sit down and evaluate the situation before I make an educated answer to that question.
Okay.
It's a really small margin of error. You're talking about either investing in a big name free agent like a Stafford, or you can get a small name free agent like a Tyrod Taylor, or you can go in the draft. Awthentik, you got some thoughts. Let's hear them.
Yeah, definitely. I think you stay away from a guy like Matthew Stafford because he's just a little bit too old to build with the rest of these weapons you have on the offensive side of the ball. Washington is a team that is ready to win right now. All they need is a quarterback and another weapon. So I do one of two things. I either look for one of these quarterbacks that's about to get released, a guy like Sam Darnold even. I would look at maybe a guy who you could bring in for not too much money, like a Jacoby Brissett. You know, somebody who's a Band-Aid vibe. And that's if you think that Alex Smith is going to retire next year. If the case is Alex Smith's not going to retire, then you might be banking on a guy like Kyle Allen coming back, who does know this system pretty decent. And I think is a guy who, if you did put weapons around him, he could win you a couple games, but don't expect nothing crazy. But you would definitely have to go into this draft and address quarterback. It might take trading away some pieces. Y'all do have a little bit of depth at running back. I think a guy like McKissick could maybe get you a late pick, or you go ham and you trade somebody who's a baller on your team, you know, and you try to get another pick early, because the Washington football team is in a very similar position as the New York Giants, except I think we have our quarterback. But y'all need that other weapon on the offensive side of the ball. Antonio Gibson can be a running back moving forward, and running backs, you know, it's not hard to find a lot of guys that can run the ball. You could even bring in a guy like Devonta Freeman, as you saw with the Giants, to be a backup running back and do pretty decent. Go out there and get yourself either a free agent who's going to be released, or go address the quarterback in the draft. But if you address the quarterback in the draft, you better go looking at guys that you think are ready to win now, which is why the Giants drafted Daniel Jones. Mentally, they thought he was the guy. He was running a pro system already when he was at Duke, making audibles at the line. He was a guy that they thought could handle the workload of what being an NFL quarterback exactly is. And I want to say this one quote that Marcellus Wiley said today on his show today. He said, "The universe whispers and then it screams." Everybody knew what was happening with Dwayne Haskins. We all knew it. We all knew.
You know the first sign for me after that win last year, when he's supposed to be on the field in victory formation and he's taking a selfie with the fan. Right then I was like, something's up. Something's up.
Who was right there ready to go? Remember Case Keenum? He was right there ready to go. Helmet was already on, ready to go.
Your boy Doc Walker. You said Doc Walker, you were on the show after him yesterday. Just maybe 20 minutes before we went live tonight, he put a picture up of the bench from Washington last game. It's the offensive coordinator sitting next to Alex Smith and then Heineke. Haskins, who's still starting at this point, is looking off to the side while Heineke and Smith are staring at the iPad. And they're like, and Walker's like,
no, that picture's from last year. That's Case Keenum on the sideline.
Oh, Well, why'd he post it now?
Well, same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
same
a
thing.
backup
I guess you're just
quarterback
saying that
and
it's
an
been
old dude with a busted leg. And this is the crazy part about Haskins, man. You looking at when you come into this Washington football locker room this year, right? You got Ron Rivera battling cancer, fighting for his life. We're not talking about a game that people get paid millions of dollars for, right? We're talking about real life. This is not a game, right? And you got Alex Smith fighting for his leg. We're not talking about no game. We're talking about walking for the rest of your life. Your leg might have to be amputated. We're talking about 17 surgeries this guy battled back from. And you still on joke time?
Yeah, that's why I'm glad we had 48 hours to cool off because, I mean, I got no empathy for the kid, and I was upset. I was embarrassed as a Washington fan. The way he played, the way he carried himself. I'm just glad this tenure's over.
Yeah, same here. And I'm very invested in it. The one part of my emotion that gets invested in this whole Dwayne Haskins thing is he from our hood, bro. He from right where we from, and y'all know what it's like where we from. You get the best of both worlds. If anybody got a great chance to excel, it's people that come from where we come from. Because, Mo County, Silver Spring, DMV is a melting pot of all cultures. You get to see it from every angle. And a guy like that, I know where he's living. He living where they got them big houses. He come from where they got them big houses. You feel me? So he should already have known, and maybe that's the reason why he fell off is an entitlement thing. But it's like seeing the things that he does, it's like, for my people, that rubs me the wrong way.
Roldy with the super
You mean
chat.
your people? You mean black people?
Yeah, for sure, bro.
We could listen.
Especially coming from where we come from, bro. Like, our parents literally bust their asses, bro, to put us in situations where we could be raised well when you come from where we come from, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
That's not okay. They're giving you 4 and 5 chances, 6 chances. You violating COVID twice in the 1 year. Like, and a lot of people, my man Inkwell, one of them, shout out to my man Inkwell, one of my MC homies. He was like, they should lay off him a little bit, people out here calling him a POS and all this. And I'm like, bro, he deserved that, man. They gave him $8 million so that he could eat this right now.
And you guys, like you just mentioned a minute ago, the struggle. And PJ was hitting me yesterday or today and was saying he kind of felt bad for the guy a little bit. And I was like, listen, man, we all are professionals. We all got jobs. I couldn't go to my job one day and do what this dude has done for 2 years now. I'd be gone. That'd be it. I'd be homeless. Gone. Me and the dog would be on the street with the sign on Connecticut Avenue asking for tips. I mean,
facts. And we talking about, a regular living salary, right? We're not talking about, they're not paying Scotty $8 million to show up for 6 months, really. When you think about it, it's 6 months of balling.
Especially during a year like this, it's 2020, this is COVID. People are living hand to mouth right now, and this dude's going to the strip club or strippers. I mean,
after taking L's. That means,
but I got
to me,
Bullets kids on my street. I know what these Bullets kids, they don't live on the same side of the track we grew up on. They don't know.
Facts. You know it. They got big cribs over there. You already know it.
It's different.
Yup, it's very different.
You got any? Oh, go ahead and shoot out the.
Oh yeah, rolled in the building. Talk passe, mon cher.
Awthentik, I'm disappointed at you with your fandom.
Hey, call it fandom, man. I'm a man of the culture, man. And I come from the culture first before I did football, man. But like, dude is disappointing, and he's the kind of person. I told him this off air. He the kind of dude that you use as an example to a youngin' and be like, you don't want to be like that, bozo.
Mm-hmm.
He followed it up with Awthentik. I totally agree with you on this topic with a $2 super chat.
Man, Roldy, man, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that.
And then another Dwayne. Definitely don't seem like he's from where I'm from.
Right, Diggy from DC doing Giants content. Y'all make sure y'all go sub up to Diggy. He put up a dope video after that, and he had a live stream that I was tapped into. We got to get Diggy on the channel one time, man. Definitely make sure y'all go sub him up. The channel's name is just Diggy546, just like that, I believe. And he puts out awesome content. Yeah, and he's from the area too. Yeah, where you from again, Diggy? Tell us in the chat where you from, Diggy. I want to say from like Petworth or somewhere around this side.
Hey, Uptown, shout him out one time.
Yes, sir.
I was waiting for the beats.
We have some more Sock Passe in the house.
Oh, yeah, Sock Passe. I ain't even know, Sebastian. You already know. Haitians in the building one time. Hey, you still remember that? Yeah. I was trying to teach him up a little bit, Sebastian. You know what I'm saying? They know a little something.
It's been a long time. The Beard, man, you got any other thoughts on your... I mean, we could go on Washington for a while here, but...
Yeah, no, I mean, the time was now. It needed to be done. And...
Oh, he in Brightwood. Diggy's in Brightwood.
Oh, what's up? Right next to Petworth, yeah.
And now it's over, and I don't have to talk about it anymore, and it's next man up. We have a division title to win this weekend. It's unfortunate, but, I mean... it's kind of I'm kind of relieved in a way that it happened because, you know, we didn't waste any more time because obviously we did waste a pick and time, and we're lucky that we're actually in the situation that we're in right now, given the circumstances of that pick and of that wasted time. So
Give me a quick
that being
reaction
said,
emotion.
Hey,
What was your first emotion you felt? Anger, disappointment, like, how did you feel right away when you heard Haskins got released? Because I felt relief.
I mean, I knew it was coming. I mean, you knew that it was coming, so it wasn't like I didn't really feel anything. I was more after the strip incident was when I was like the most. That's when I was like just disappointed. Like I was super disappointed. Maybe not even disappointed more. I was disappointed at a lot of other things that he's done. I think I was more angry at just I don't understand it.
You know,
it's difficult for me to understand sometimes.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
look. Before we get to them 2 super chats, too, don't forget those. You know, I thought that maybe because Tim's been the beard been a little bit like this it's had him distraught a little bit, right? And I thought maybe if this was my team, I would be feeling like that, and I would have sympathy. But y'all remember how my vibes was when the thing happened with DeAndre Baker, right?
What'd you say? Peace out? Deuces?
Oh, my vibes was like, get him out of here. He's a bozo. He's a bozo, bro. Blowing opportunity. First day of COVID, you out at the barbecue, robbing people over Madden football. Money that y'all bet on Madden football, you're a bozo, bro. On the first day of COVID.
And
You know he
Joe
wasn't
Ju-
wearing a mask.
And then that's when a franchise really needs, because we came into this year, we talked about it end of last year, beginning of this year. Washington and the New York Giants needed a franchise overhaul, complete culture change. Joe Judge does that right away, says, peace out, Baker. We don't need you anymore. Go bye. That's why I was a little upset Rivera didn't cut Haskins last week, right after the strip club incident. We know
Good
Doug
point.
Williams maybe said something to him, but you got to put your foot down right away and say, this is not how it's going in here anymore. Maybe you were here 5 years ago, but not anymore. We're changing it up.
Yeah, it needed to be a culture change. And you saw New York handled it proper. And we said, deuces to DeAndre Baker. And we wasted a first-round pick on that. And look at it. Our football team is suffering because of it. A lot of people ragging on Dave Gettleman. But I think the one thing that you got to, you got to put on Dave Gettleman in this situation is the judgment of character. And it seems like New York, with Dave Gettleman, they skipped the judgment of character part to bring in a guy who they thought was talented. And Washington did the exact same thing and tried to hang on it because of a guy that they thought was talented or just because of how high he was drafted. They let him linger around a little bit longer than probably should have been there. This dude should have been out of there. As soon as I would have seen that selfie thing as a coach, y'all know I would not be having that.
It just doesn't make sense. You see it doesn't even compute in your brain. Like, this guy's a professional athlete, made it to the highest level of his particular sport, and he's not focused enough to know to take the field, to take a knee, to get a win.
Right.
At that point, I was like, something's up.
What is you
here.
celebrating? That's what I look at it. What is you celebrating?
That sounds like an authentic lyric. I think
It's an
there's
old
definitely
authentic song. There's
It is.
an explicit lyric that comes right after it. And
Maybe
it's
that's
what
why
is
I remember.
what is you celebrating? Like, come on, bro.
We'll play that one next show for you guys.
Shout out Rodeo.
Authentic, I'm with you on that. Scotty, what up? Action Bronson, what up?
What up, Roddy,
What's
my
going
guy?
on,
What you
Roddy?
sipping on tonight, Roddy? You got anything going, man? I see you over in our entertainer chats giving those dudes big S during the football games, man. I love Roddy's comments.
Hey, I see you, Roddy, talking about that Haitian soup. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You already know. You already know. I tell you, one of my favorite Haitian dishes, though, is that guyo, Roddy. I don't know if you know about that guyo. Whew, fire.
I wouldn't call it a red herring, Ben, because, I think it was an indication of what was to come. Red herring means it meant nothing. I just think that it was like, this kid is very, very immature. And in his rookie year, maybe excusable. You do that in your sophomore season, towards the end of the year, yeah, bye-bye, time to go.
Yeah, and y'all heard Ryan Leaf. I watched that Ryan Leaf documentary about his career, and they interviewed him as an old man pretty much, talking about the mistakes that he had made when he was in the league. And, Ryan Leaf said Dwayne Haskins is looking just like him.
And Ryan Leaf was a drug addict, right? Didn't he pop a bunch of
Oh, yeah,
pills
he got
after
off
his
in the
career?
drugs heavy.
Yeah, he was
alcoholic.
breaking into people's houses, stealing pills, all types of crazy stuff.
The best
Don't
thing
let
to say,
Dwayne Haskins run out of no money.
Right, you're 23 years old, you're rich, you're young, you got a lot of your life ahead of you, man. We made a mistake. We've all made tons of mistakes here on Authentic and the Beard, so you got a chance to redeem yourself, but it's not going to be in a Washington football team jersey. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, it might not ever be in an NFL jersey. We'll see.
Well, yeah, nobody claiming on waivers. We'll see if somebody gets them. All right, the Beard, anything last you want to say before we kick to a commercial and then go to
No,
Giants?
that's about it, man. I think I've said my piece. And I'm
Are you at peace?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah,
have
no.
a-
I'm perfectly fine with it. Like I said, man, like it was time for him to go. He's gone. He's no longer part of the team. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to talk about it anymore. I got another quarterback that I need to be focused
what I remember
on.
from this last thing? Like, he was playing awful, right? And in the second quarter, he made like some big play to that was to Cam Sims too, I think, right? The first. And the Beard's like, great play, Haskins. I said, man.
Was
boy,
it
if
the
you
one
don't
where
sit
he
your-
threw the little duck that went 25 feet in the air? That play, it was our best play of the day.
Where he
and it was the
scrambled.
worst play I've seen. He rolled out of the pocket with no pressure. They had a perfect pocket for him. Rolls out, throws across his body, 60 feet into the air, the duckiest of ducks. Barely got to
duckiest
where it
of
was
ducks.
going. I was like, that's our best play today. Time to move
I just
on
want to
here.
go
Who's next?
solo camera on the Beard right now.
I mean, it's tough. It's been a
Dwayne
tough week for us,
Haskins,
man.
yo.
It's
It has
been a
been, man.
tough
Yo,
week,
you
bro.
got to move on from these losers, man. Straight up.
Hey, Roldy, man. Maybe you don't know. My man is rolling with a Dominican mommy. He already got
Oh,
himself
yeah.
some sweet
Yeah, he
sugar.
definitely is. He already is rolling with a Dominicano.
gorgeous
Half
Josie.
Dominican, half what?
Her
Ghana.
dad's family's from Ghana.
Ghana.
Sweet.
Yes, sir.
All
Hey,
right.
appreciate that, Roldy, man. Yo, we appreciate the
I've
support
only
on the
had black
channel,
women
brother,
in my
man.
life my whole life.
That's
pretty
major,
much.
brother. That's major.
Once you go
Oh, and there
black,
she is right there, Roldy. There she is. She's here.
go back. Hey. She does the Bobby, all caps, too. I like that. Josie don't mess
Sorry.
around. Pulls the Bobby Woodruff on him. All right. Washington football team fans on this panel need a quick second. We're going to take one more commercial break. Come back.
Give me the full screen of solo joint. I'm just joking.
We're going to come back with the New York Giants recap. We're going to be back in about 15 seconds. Hang tight. Don't go anywhere. Show's lit tonight.
Your wide receiver on IR? Aw, shucks. Your running back keep fumbling every week? Man, damn it all. Well, come chop it up with your boys. We are waiver wire tight. Authentic in the Beard. Every Sunday morning, streaming live at 11 a.m.
We actually got something on our resume now. The Beard won his fantasy football championship. A great reason to tune into our Sunday segment, The Parlay. Fantasy football is mostly over out there. We do go over all the games, the over-unders against the spreads. Check us out Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. It's a good time every time. Last recap we're going to talk about tonight. Awthentik's New York Giants had the 1 o'clock game. They needed a win big time to stay on par with Washington. Washington helped them out by losing. Dallas also helped them out by winning. Giants did fall to the Baltimore Ravens. It was 27-13. Third straight semi-uncompetitive game for these G-men. Somewhat of a troubling trend. The defense has been the strength all season. They did struggle to contain Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' rushing attack. The lack of the pass rush for the Giants on the D-line has been an issue in the last couple games. We know the D tackles on the inside, the big boys, great at stopping the run. They clog things up. As far as pressuring these quarterbacks, they have not been doing that successfully. Lamar Jackson, not the most accurate of quarterbacks. You give him enough time back there, especially against the zone defense, he's going to find some holes. That's exactly what he did. He had a big game. 183 pass yards, 2 passing touchdowns, added 83 rush yards on the ground, just a vintage performance. The backfield in Baltimore really balled out. Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, they combined 157 rush yards, only 24 carries, and a touchdown. Tackling, from what I saw, we'll get to Authentic. From what I saw, the tackling was a big issue for the Giants. They were in position to make plays. They didn't make them. The Ravens have a tendency to do that to players. They kind of make them look like, yeah, you're in the right place. I'm Lamar Jackson. I'm the most athletic guy on the most athletic field, and I'm better than you, and I'm going to make you look stupid. I saw a lot of that. Giants kind of whiffing on air. Not great. The offensive side of the ball wasn't any better. This is now the 6th straight game the Giants have failed to reach 20 points. Daniel Jones, he's back from the lower leg injuries. Still limited mobility-wise. Wasn't really rolling out of the pocket. The RPO is not part of the offense anymore. If you ask me, the offense struggled at the beginning of the season. When they really started employing Daniel Jones as a running quarterback, it didn't take it to an elite level, but it took it to a good enough level when you have that type of defense to win you football games. Since the ankle injury, since the other lower leg injury that he had, Daniel Jones just hasn't been taken off. Either he doesn't feel comfortable or Joe Judge and Jason Garrett don't feel comfortable calling the plays. Regardless of what it is, they don't have enough elite top-end talent on offense to make it happen, and it hasn't been happening. Sterling Shepard, though, I got to give this man some shout-outs. He had 9 catches, 77 yards, played 95% of plays. In a season where maybe the Giants or Washington is not going to make the playoffs, you want to look for veterans that are out there playing every single down, still ready to win, even, in dire situations. And Sterling Shepard has been that guy for the Giants the last couple weeks. Awthentik, lots to digest in this Giants game. Talking about the offense, talking about the defense. Bottom line is, you guys win this Sunday, Washington loses, you will make the playoffs. There will be a home playoff game at MetLife. How are you feeling about the game? What did you see? What didn't you like on the offensive side of the ball?
I'm feeling a little crazy about this game. Offensive side of the ball, we couldn't run the rock. That's been a big issue the past couple of weeks here. But I think a lot of the offensive issues had to do with this defense. You look at this first quarter of this game, they blew us out in this first quarter of this game. The first 2 possessions of the game, I'm like, oh, this game's pretty much in the bag right now. They walked the ball down the field on us on that first drive, and the second drive was pretty much the same thing. And like you said, tackling was a major issue in this game. Giants offensively, without being able to run the ball, 1 of 10 on third down. You can't win a game like that.
1 of 10. My
1 of
goodness.
10. And the Ravens, to flip side that, were 8 of 11 on third down. Giants passing looked pretty decent. I think Daniel Jones did everything he could possibly do in this game to try to keep us in it, except running the ball. I agree with you on that they're being a bit slow to try to give him running plays and call those kind of design runs because they know that we're going to need him here towards the end of the season. And with a little bit of luck that we needed, we got that luck. Like I said earlier in the intro, this was like the best Sunday I could possibly have with a loss. And early on, this is the thing, man. With football, you can't get too invested. And I realized this about second quarter. Piz was always talking about this. Piz was always like, you stand up, you sit down, hands on the knees. You stand up, you sit down. You stand up, you sit down, right? You watching the game, you walking, you pacing, right? I just sat down and just laughed at everything that happened in the second half. Watched Entertainer and Bad Dog do their play-by-play and just trolled the chat the whole time. I made sure that if this was going to be the last time I was going to see a meaningful New York Giants football game, I was going to have a my on my face.
It's interesting because that's not normal Authentic, right?
It's not. It's definitely not normally
the first
my style.
half, he was a little. He was yelling.
That's what I said. Yeah. Yo, forget the first half. Every game when the Giants have a possibility to win the game, I'm going to be up and rowdy for the game. That's my style. I don't just sit on the couch and watch football and not say nothing. It ain't my style. I got to get up. That's why me and Pizzle kind of click on that because Pizzle hype. You know what I'm saying? And when it's time for the Giants to play, I'm always hype, man. That's my vibes. But to see Lamar Jackson just literally come out here and just walk the Giants 2 drives in a row, I'm like, oh, man. And it started to feel like the same kind of vibe where it's like every offensive possession for the Giants seems like it's the last possession. It's like, we got to score here. We need 7 here. We got to get 7. And I don't remember watching football like that with Eli Manning. Eli Manning come on the field, go 3 and out. I used to not care, because I knew when it came down to the fourth quarter, my guy was going to be fighting for a W, right? Now, this game really showed you that the New York Giants need the weapons, okay? I said going into this game that the only weapons that Daniel Jones really has is Evan Ingram and Sterling Shepard. And that showed in this game. Evan Ingram had a pretty decent game. Sterling Shepard with the 9 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. That's the guy who needs to be our 2, our number 3. But we got to bring in a guy. We really, and this is where me and Fisk Vegas are seeing so eye to eye. 2 things Fisk Vegas said, and he showed me the receipts on his videos for it. The one was the thing about Stephon Diggs. 6 days before Buffalo traded for Stephon Diggs, he said the Giants should trade their first pick and try to get Stephon Diggs over here. It was after we traded Odell Beckham. And the other thing he said was that we should have signed Robbie Anderson. That's another guy that I've been telling y'all about that we should have signed as New York Giants. We needed another playmaker. And being that he was having a little turmoil with what was happening with him with the Jets, I think he would have been an easy sign. I don't know what he signed with Carolina for, but he's been getting yards all year. I'm sure it wasn't a lot. And he's a guy that you could bring in. And if you had a piece like Stephon Diggs, you see what he's doing to that Bills offense. The Bills offense, I thought was going to be an offense that was predicated on the run when they had the 2-back system over there. What was Singletary and was it my man that's with the Chiefs now, OG. Shady McCoy was over there too the year before, remember?
That's right.
So I thought they were going to try to predicate that team off the run. And now, you get one weapon. Like, did you see Stephon Diggs in that game? Did y'all see the kind of touchdowns he was scoring? He had one where he started celebrating and he tripped. And he was like, y'all still not going to catch me. He still walked into the end zone and did his little dance, did his little shimmy. Yo, the Giants need a guy like that. And I don't know if we're going to address this in the draft, but I think it's now I'm sold. Some people were saying cornerback. Some people were saying edge rusher. Giants need to go all out on a wide receiver in the first round. I don't care if the pick is going to be a 10th pick or what they saying we might have an 8th pick if we get knocked out of the playoffs, or we'll have the 17th or 18th pick if we do get this playoff game and lose it because we'll have the worst record in the playoffs. Whatever it is, you can get a wide receiver at all of those positions in the draft. You know, I talked about this a little bit earlier in the show. You got guys like Corey Davis, who was drafted number 5. You got guys like Mike Evans, who the Bucs took at number 7, who's had a 1,000-yard season since he's been in the league. He has not had a 1,000-yard season. Unless he doesn't get 31 yards in this game coming up on Sunday, it'll be a broken record for him. That'll break Randy Moss's record. So my whole thing is I hope the Giants got the right guys out here scouting for wide receivers because we're going to need one, and also address it in free agency. Bring in a guy who costs a little bit of money in free agency. We're going to have to get rid of Golden Tate because he is Sterling Shepard. I've been saying that all year. They're two the same type of wide receiver. That's not going to work out in this system. You need a guy who can literally stretch the field like a Darius Slayton, but also be able to go across the middle and make those quick slant routes, make those 5-yard comeback, 10-yard comeback routes, 10-yard and out routes so that you then can, peel the cap on the top of these defenses. And I don't care what nobody say. I've been running with this all week. I don't care what nobody say. The Giants did not win the Odell Beckham trade. I don't care what nobody say. You can argue with me to the death. We didn't win that trade. And I'm not sitting here saying that the Browns won that trade necessarily, but the Giants did not win that trade. We lost our biggest playmaker, and literally our offense has gone from being an offense that we, even with Odell Beckham, we were talking about struggling reaching 30 points, right? That was the number when it was Eli and Odell Beckham. We had this long streak. I can't remember how long the streak was, but we didn't score 30 points in a game for this really long streak with Eli and Odell.
It was like 10 games, right?
Oh, it was more than that. It went over 2 seasons, I feel like. And in the second season, we ended up getting it. But when you trade a guy like Odell Beckham for a guy like Jabril Peppers, and I know this was me and Pizzle talked about this on the phone today too. I know it was a 2 kind of trade deal because you had the Olivier Vernon with Zeitler on the line and a pick, and then you had Odell Beckham traded for Jabril Peppers and a 3rd round and another pick. We lost that trade. Jabril Peppers is just okay.
So is that something that you would reevaluate at a different time, or do you think that that's something that will always be that way, like just because of the timing of it with OBJ leaving?
You got to think about it like this. Right now is the perfect time to address it, to actually give leverage to the Giants fans that are saying that we lost the trade because Odell Beckham is out with an ACL injury, and you can say, well, look at him, he's hurt now. Odell Beckham in a bad year went over there with the Browns, who are a team that is predicated on the run more than any team in the NFL, and still got 1,000 yards with Jarvis Landry on the opposite side of the field from him. So a healthy Odell Beckham, to me, has more value. Now, with the draft pick, we drafted Dexter Lawrence, which he's been playing great ball.
Sexy Dexy, it's what Justin calls him.
Sexy, that's what all of us call him. Sexy Dexy,
really?
He do his little dance. When he make a good play, he do a little dance, right? And I like him. I think he's a great player. And, but to me, in exchange for a weapon that is like an Odell Beckham, and this is where Odell Beckham was so deadly. Odell Beckham could run the fade route and kill you. Odell Beckham could run the post route and kill you. Odell Beckham is probably the closest thing we've seen to a DeAndre Hopkins since, Chad Johnson? Maybe a guy who can literally run the 10-yard comeback route to the outside shoulder, and as long as you put that ball on him, he's catching it. Every time. I talked about this with Entertainer one time. Odell Beckham, they used to line him up in the slot, right? He will run the comeback route inside, I lie to you not, like 7-8 times in a row. I don't know if the beard remembers me talking about this a couple years ago. He will run the comeback route every time, where it was literally a comeback where you just go 10 yards to the sticks and you turn to the quarterback. You face the quarterback, hands up. It's the play Evan Ingram likes to drop a lot.
From the slot.
From the slot. They would put him in the slot to run this.
That's a tough route in the slot.
It's a tough route. And I'm going to tell you how they used to set this up. So he would run it like 7-8 times. And then finally, when they really wanted to peel the cap off the defense, when that safety had to come back in, you get that double move. Odell Beckham would spin out of that and seam right down the field. Bang, you get a touchdown. We don't got a guy who has that on his team. Sterling Shepard, he's a baller. Bona fide. He plays the slot as best as you could play the slot, if you ask me. But he don't got that number 1 weapon he used to have in Odell, where you could really, really make moves with a guy like Sterling Shepard and take pressure off him.
It makes things so much more difficult.
It makes it so much more difficult because, look, if you look at the way the Ravens played against Darius Slayton in this game, they just lined on him. They would line up to him 10 yards off the ball.
Not worried
Catch
about
the
that.
comeback route. Darius Slayton has not shown that he could catch the comeback route all season long. That's not his route. Darius Slayton runs the post and he runs the fly route. That's all he runs.
It makes
So
it a
all
lot
you got to do
easier
is
to
play it
defend.
10 off. It's
Like you're
so
saying, a lot
easy to
easier.
defend, man. Yo, if I know Darius Slayton's running the fly at me, I mean, yo, I run a 4.5, 4.6. I'll keep up a little bit. I know Darius Slayton like 4.3, 4.4. But if I know he running the fly, I'm gonna at least be around to be like, and make a effort on a play, right? He probably Randy Moss me. I give you that. Let's get to that super chat so I don't keep wrapping up too much about this Darius Slayton situation.
Shout out to Roldy for the $5 super chat. Authentic, I want us to get weapons so you can stop making excuses for Jones. I'm coming after you if good don't work. I did that eye test on Jones.
I appreciate
He's like
you
Mad Dog.
censoring the curse word.
He not sold, huh?
No, Roldy is worse as far as it goes on Daniel Jones than Bad Dog.
He's done with him. He doesn't want
He
him
never
at all.
been sold on Daniel Jones. But I see it with my eyes. The boy is accurate. You really just got to clean up the fumbles, which he has done this year. He's cleaned it up a little bit, but not enough for me because Daniel Jones is still third in the NFL in fumbles. But the interceptions he has cleaned up. He's somewhere in the middle of the pack right now as far as interceptions go. But the touchdowns are so low. We got to say that a lot of that has to do with Garrett because we saw how Daniel Jones excelled in the Pat Shurmur offense, which is another reason why that Stephon Diggs trade should have been made. You remember who was the offensive coordinator over there for Stephon Diggs' first year? It was Pat Shurmur.
Interesting. How about it? I didn't know that. Okay.
So salute to my guy Fisk for pointing out all of this to me on his stream when I just tapped in with him. Just the other day, that was on Sunday, actually, after the games, they was talking, and he was like, I've been saying Stephon Diggs. And then I mentioned Robbie Anderson, and he was like, yo, I've been saying Robbie Anderson. Imagine you brought in a guy like Stephon Diggs, and then Darius Slayton could excel in doing the things that he's best at. Instead, you got guys like Austin Mack dropping critical third downs. In this game, he dropped the most critical third down. I mean, you think Evan Ingram dropping passes. This was one of them joints that's just like,
yeah,
and
he turned around before he caught the ball.
Like, what's going on? This is an NFL wide receiver here.
Shout out to Lax 044. $4.99 super chat says Odell also disappeared in one playoff game they had in 2016. And for 5 years, $95 million. No, thank you. I'll take Peppers, Lawrence, and X-Man all day.
How many interceptions Peppers got? How many sacks Lawrence got? Come on, they not producing.
The question is, if you could go back in time to week 1 with the knowledge you have right now of the way this Giants season has gone, would you trade Zimenez, Dexter Lawrence, and Peppers for OBJ?
Right away. No problem.
Wow.
No problem.
Your Giants
no
fans
problem.
aren't with you in the chat. I don't know if you're
Oh, I
seeing
know
them
they're
out
not.
here.
I know they're not. Here's the thing. A lot of Giants fans, man, they listen to media and they get brainwashed by whoever they want to get brainwashed by. I'm here to give you my own sole opinion. Like, yo, I'm literally sitting on the couch solo now watching football games because Giants football is not exciting, and it has not been exciting since we had Odell Beckham in the lineup. Don't make me take you back to his rookie season where he almost broke the record for yards in 12 games. Let's be real. This man came out and had like 180 yards in his first big game. This dude came off a hamstring injury and literally was one of the best wide receivers in the league. I'll never forget the conversations I had with Dwayne, which were about Amari Cooper and Odell Beckham. And he was like, I think Amari Cooper's going to be the guy. I think he'll be the better wide receiver in the long run. And look, he was right. But I think it had a lot to do with, one, Odell Beckham's immaturity, not realizing what he had at quarterback in Eli Manning, because Eli Manning could get Odell Beckham to slants all day. And the thing is, people don't realize what checking down can do. Checking down can be a threat, especially when defenses run any scheme that has to do with cover 2 cornerbacks, right? When you check down to Saquon Barkley, who, let me remind you, in his rookie year had 90-plus catches, okay? Because Eli kept checking down to him. All you doing is opening up over the top. If Eli looked to the check down, that cover 2 corner is going to come down. It's going to open up stuff for Odell Beckham to be one-on-one. I'm just keeping it 100 with people, man. And you look at Odell Beckham's productivity with the Browns, and you try to gauge that as the player as he is now. He fell off a cliff. Same people saying that about Tom Brady. Yo, look at Tom Brady's statistics right now. He's a 40-plus-year-old quarterback. I know we're talking about the GOAT, but when we're talking about Odell Beckham, we're talking about maybe the most exciting wide receiver since Randy Moss.
Roldy says in a $5 super chat, talk about Authentic. OBJ was the best wide receiver in our history. I'm still pissed the F off. Gettleman trading OBJ.
Yeah. And somebody else talked about the cap thing, right? About they talked about $95 million about the deal they signed. When you got rid of him, we took the hit for getting rid of him. We don't got a player that's going to make up for that.
So I mean, it kind of, if we wanted to generalize this line of speech you're going through, Authentic, you would take a little bit of a subtraction to how good your defense has been to add the explosive element to that offense to give them a higher ceiling, because you don't even think the ceiling's there right now for that offense.
Yes, 100%. And Odell Beckham would have been the guy who is a threat, man. Like, Darius Slayton is not a threat. Darius Slayton is not threatening. If you watch the Ravens game, there was 2 quick slants that Daniel Jones threw to Darius Slayton.
Oh, yeah.
You don't read. The quick slant is not the kind of play you read. People be like, Daniel Jones is stuck on the first read. The play is to go to the quick slant. He sees a matchup at the line, and he's like, I'm going to this quick slant. Beat your man. It's one-on-one. Why is Darius Slayton always behind the cornerback?
If someone's talking about
that one play too,
you don't know football. I mean, come on, that's the play. You go.
That's the play. Those are the kind of plays you make for quarterbacks like Dwayne Haskins when you be like, he can't really read the field. You just do these quick one reads, quick slant. It's a one-on-one thing. Bang, catch him before he gets to the linebacker, and hopefully your cornerback or your wide receiver can make a play on the corner and the linebacker, and maybe go off to the races. You've seen it with Terry McLaurin. You've seen Terry McLaurin take that slant and go. Now, Darius Slayton is a reason why this guy was drafted in the 5th, 6th round. There's a reason for that. It's a reason for that, fam. And there's a reason why Odell Beckham was drafted in the 1st round, and you saw it in the 1st year. Don't make me go over these game longs. Odell Beckham starts off as a rookie, 91 catches. 2nd year, 96. 3rd year, 101. The 4th year, he gets hurt. People looking at him like he injury prone. He comes back in 12 games, has 77 catches. Come on 133 targets and got 1,000 yards. 1st year with the Browns. Come on, yo. Like, yo, people, you just got, sometimes with football, you got to just dismiss all the BS and just use your eyes, right? And that's why I like to use my girl as an example a lot. Because my girl's just like, yo, I can't name these players on this team like that. You know why? Because our leading wide receiver is Darius Slayton, and he has like 700 yards. That's why you can't name these players on this team. Our leading rusher going into week 8 was our quarterback. That's why we can't name players on these teams, right? And Saquon Barkley coming back, you got to just imagine how this offense could be if you got Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard in the slot, Evan Ingram, yes, Evan Ingram at the tight end, he'll see more productivity with playmakers around him when you take pressure off of him. Right now, he's the only playmaker to go with Sterling Shepard. I'm looking at that game, and Waterfly will tell you, he was cracking jokes in the entertainer joint because I was trolling everybody. I trolled everybody in that chat. Like, yo, don't have your expectations for a team like this be that high because we don't got the playmakers. And going into the playoffs, I'm looking at it like, man, this team not ready to win a playoff game, but I'm a real New York Giants fan. I always want my team to win.
Waterfly wants you to make sure your blood pressure's okay for the $2 super chat.
Hey, we'll double check. We'll double check, man. It might cost you a lot more money than that to get the blood pressure check.
Another super chat from Lax044 for $4.99. Odell has only played 2 full seasons his whole career. The trade was the right move. If they draft Smith or Chase, people will stop talking about Odell.
Let me address that. He say 2 full seasons, right? You mean to tell me that you're not going to take the 12 game, the first season, 91 catches, 1,300 yards, and 12 touchdowns? Okay, the second season you say wasn't a full season. You're not going to take his sophomore season, 15 games played, 96 catches on 159 targets, 1,450 yards, and 13 touchdowns? You're not going to take that? You're going to try to use that he doesn't play full seasons as an excuse? Come on, man. Open your eyes, bro. Come on.
I hear you, Authentic. It's a high-end talent. You got to take risks. That's the way it is when you give out contracts. For future years. You don't
Authentic is back, Roldy.
There's got to be a risk to it. This is a good one, though. Mikey C brought this question up, and I want to ask Authentic and all the people in the chat, the Beard as well, pipe in. Saquon Barkley, obviously the most explosive weapon on the team since you guys got rid of Odell Beckham. When he's in there, teams have to take him into consideration. Maybe not 8 in the box, but if you don't put 7, the dude's going to ball out on you. Do you think Slayton's regression and maybe Golden Tate and your other guy not doing as well this year is because no Saquon back there? I mean, when he comes back next year, do you see these number 2 receivers taking a step forward? Slayton?
The only way that this would have, something to do with Saquon Barkley is if Saquon could have came out and balled out completely. But what we saw in the first couple games with this system with Jason Garrett, that was my next point, it's not working. Daniel Jones looks like complete garbaggio in this system. He only has 10 touchdowns on the season, if I'm correct.
10?
10 touchdowns on the season. 9 interceptions. He went 18 quarters with no touchdowns, bro. Well, Tim you had the stat last week, right?
Yeah.
4.5 games.
And
Something like
one of
that.
them was where he was not in the game, but also the Giants offense didn't score a touchdown in that game either.
Yeah,
Come
the
on,
Giants.
this
The Giants
is
haven't
clear.
scored. I want to say the Giants haven't scored 20 points in 5 straight games.
Yeah,
And I
we're
mentioned-
averaging 17 points a game, Scotty.
I mean, for sure. And I mentioned you guys had a little streak in the middle of the season when Jones, your boy dual threat Danny, was really getting his RPO game on, and he was doing it. And the
Yes.
Giants, those couple games, they were doing it. Hurt the hammy, hurt the calf or the ankle, whatever it was. Since then, he's not running the football. Completely eliminated that part of the game. He's not Saquon Barkley, but he did offer that threat that defenses have to respect. Since he's been hurt, he's not doing it. The D-lines don't respect it. They can pin their ears back, come after him. He was sacked 6 times. Let's not forget that. They were
Yeah.
after him all game long.
3 in a row.
3 in a row. The 3 in a row is bad.
Matt Pert, that boy
Looking
got
terrible.
beat. Man, he twice he was pushing his hands like he was throwing chest passes into the air. I mean, got to give respect to the D-line, but yeah, that was ugly.
And to speak on the RPO, Scotty, to keep it 100 with you, I don't even think Jason Garrett knew that Daniel Jones had legs like that
Nope.
until they ran the RPO and he kept it and said, "Oh, here it go."
So you want Garrett maybe?
Maybe. I mean, like how many years can we got what? One more year for Daniel Jones, and then the next year we're gonna enter contract year.
So let me
Yeah,
ask you
can
this
extend
then.
them, start next
Yeah,
year.
you could extend him. Yeah.
Do you think that I understand getting rid of Jason Garrett? I totally understand where people are coming from that, right? But how helpful do you think that is in either the growth of Daniel Jones or, like kind of stunting the growth by bringing in another offensive coordinator and another system for him to learn, making that, including college, your senior year in college and your first 3 years in the NFL with new coordinators and new systems?
I don't care about college. He was throwing to a bunch of bums that was dropping the ball. I'll get to my notes about that if y'all want. But switching up the system here, if it's not working, we cannot just keep trying to rely on it. Y'all see this system. I mean, Daniel Jones had to throw the ball like 40-something times in this game with no running game. So not only is it like not a innovative style of offense, it's unsuccessful running the ball. If you remember the Dallas Cowboys, every time when they didn't have Zeke Elliott, they still figured out ways to run the ball when Jason Garrett was over there because they had that offensive line was just ridiculous. They were bullying people around. The Giants are losing in the trenches on both sides of the ball the last 3-4 weeks here. We get no pressure on the quarterback, and in the games that we were in, a lot of that was because of what the defense was doing. The bend don't break. But when you got teams that can score in the red zone like the Ravens did on us, like the Browns did on us, they slicing this defense up. This defense looks like what it was supposed to look like in the beginning of the year when you play good teams. I think the Giants need to address the other side of the ball because, look, I talked to the Beard about this on Sunday. I'm a guy that says defense wins championships, right? But it only wins championships if you can run the rock.
Your offense has to support your defense because right now the Giants
100%.
in Washington football, they could be top 5 defenses, and they might be, but we have no idea because the offenses have been completely inept now for the better part of a month.
There's no way the Giants defense could be a top 5 defense at this point because when they don't generate pressure, they're bad.
Right. And you're right, and that's the edge pressure has not been there all year, really. I mean, Marcus Golden was the guy last year, even though he's coming from the linebacker spot, but you have not had that edge pressure from the D-line.
He's another guy I think that they might have should have kept around because I want to say he got traded off at the trade deadline too. We had him in the beginning of the year, I think.
And he had double-digit sacks. Didn't he have like 10 sacks last year?
Yeah.
8 to 10.
And
He
he's
had 11 sacks
he's
last
having
year.
a good year this year too in Arizona.
And
He
wouldn't have
calls
been
that
expensive
strip
to
sack
keep.
on
Kind of
Daniel too.
interesting. They made a lot of great, and your boy didn't Logan Ryan just get an extension? I believe yesterday, 3 years, $30 million.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people thinking that might be reason that Dave Gettleman is going to stay around. But don't forget that Logan Ryan is a Joe Judge guy. And I always talk about that clip that happened this year when he made the game-winning play. He came to the sideline and he went right over to Joe Judge and he said, "I appreciate you for taking the risk and giving me another opportunity in the league." He was mic'd up for that game.
It was during the game he said
Yeah,
that?
right at the end of the game. Made the
I'm
game-sealing
Coach
play.
Joe Judge, man. I'm like, I love you, dog.
Yeah, so I think the signing of Logan Ryan was a safety blanket for Joe Judge to really keep his leader on this defense, along with Blake Martinez. And the defense is, I'm glad we talked about the Haskins thing because we had a similar situation with DeAndre Baker, bonehead bozo kind of moves, right? And they just parted ways with him, knowing that it would set us back, right? And that people forget about that. That really set us back, and that's why we're struggling at cornerback number 2 this year. With Isaac Yiadom, who I feel like Isaac Yiadom is not fit to play zone defense. You see it a lot where he's players are around him in that zone, and he doesn't feel the player and know where the player is at right behind him. And it's just not working out. And I think that Jabril Peppers, he's a decent player, but he's not the kind of guy I want to pay no big money. I think he can be a salvageable strong safety, but like, for me, it's just about bringing in these weapons on the offensive side of the ball. You see it with Darius Slade, man. He can't beat guys one-on-one unless he's running the fly like a track star.
And then you said if that's your only route, it's much more easily defensible because you can just stay 15 yards off the dude, get a head start.
Let's get this one.
Yep. Lax044 with the $9.99 super chat says, I'll take those seasons, Awthentik, but his numbers have been trending down since he broke his ankle. He is supposed to be better with a younger quarterback, not worse. His drops have gone up and touchdowns have gone down.
I agree with all the things you're saying about the statistics, and I got backup for all of that. One of the reasons is because the Browns is meant to run the ball. They're not meant to pass the ball. Look at how many other people got to get the ball in them wide receiver schemes with Landry, who was the tight end that they drafted, and the tight end that they just spent all that money on. They got Hooper, who they spent all the money on, but don't forget they drafted Njoku. Right?
That's right.
Well, they drafted another tight end in this draft.
Right. And then you got the kid Higgins. Then you got Jarvis Landry. Then you got Kareem Hunt, don't forget, who catches a lot of passes out the backfield. And I do think that they made a mistake by trying to target Odell Beckham a little bit too much. And he's the diva-style wide receiver. I do get that. But that system is not for Odell Beckham. When you say he's supposed to be better with a younger QB, that makes no sense to me. Mm-hmm. That literally makes no sense to me.
And we have another super chat from Roldy Lewis. $5 super chat. Awthentik, I disagree with you on Garrett. He has no choice, bruh. He is calling these plays because Jones can't handle it. Garrett have no choice.
He did it like a Jeopardy question or like a spelling bee. Garrett has no choice, calling the plays because Jones can't handle it. Garrett has no choice. Like first and then finish. I like it, Roldy.
Hey, shout out my man Roldy. For me, the verdict is not completely out on Jason Garrett yet, but there was good times there in the middle of the season. I thought he committed to the rock. When you look at Wayne Gallman, let me pull up Wayne Gallman's stats here for you real quick, because when Devonta Freeman came into the into the backfield and he was running a rock, you saw a couple games 60 yards right there from Devonta Freeman. But then when they made that switch and they went to Wayne Gallman is when the Giants saw most of their success during that 4-game running streak. Now look at these attempts for Wayne Gallman starting back against the Eagles in week 5. 10 carries. 12 carries against the Bucs the next week. 14 carries against Washington the next week. 18 carries against the Eagles, which now we won back-to-back games at that point. They say, we going to the Bengals with a banged-up quarterback. They gave him 24 carries. That was his second highest rushing yards of the year at 94 yards. He was averaging 3.9. Against the Seahawks in another game where Daniel Jones sat, he got 16 carries for 135 yards. For some reason, in the last 3 weeks, and his yards per carry average has not gone down that much. Against the Cardinals, he only got 12 carries, man, 4.8 yards. And then against the Browns, he only got 9 carries. Now, the limited carries against the Ravens, I get it, because the Ravens just straight mollywopped us on the first 2 drives. And I know how it is, man. If you go down 14, 17 points, it's going to be hard to keep running that rock, man. And that's why you saw Daniel Jones throw the ball, which I think was his most throws of the year at 41 throws, 250 yards.
It also lends to your point a little bit about having a player like an OBJ, because when you do go down early and you're not able to run the football, a player like OBJ with 2 catches can get you right back into a football game. And Washington or New York, we don't have players like that right now.
Yo, and go ahead and get the super chat one time.
Shout out to Matt Emery for the $5 super chat. Washington football team, NFC East champs by midnight Sunday. Say it with me, fellas.
Champion, baby. I don't know, though. I'm not feeling super confident, but I am excited. I'll give you that. I'm excited for sure.
That's going to be an awesome time. I'll tell you that much.
It could be. It could be a very awful time. So, Awthentik said something, but we didn't catch it. There was a little bit of static feedback.
A little bit of static. Yeah, man. I'm hoping y'all take the L. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. But it's clear with the Giants.
What time do you guys play, Awthentik?
We're at 1:00.
So if you guys win that game, it's going to be heavy Washington hate on Sunday night, huh?
Oh, yeah. I saw Pizzle talk about fly, Eagles fly if the Giants could win this game at 1:00, because we definitely going to be rooting for them Eagles. And I think the Eagles got what it takes. As long as they come out and play at, full capacity, I think they're going to take care of y'all. I really do.
I'll tell you right now, I'm not worried about Cop Pizzle, man. This guy don't know if he can run the system.
Hey, he gave you big props today, too. He gave you some big love today on the conversation we had. He said he liked how you responded to the rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's very eerie to me how parallel these two teams are running right now. Like you said, you guys probably have your quarterback. We definitely don't have our quarterback of the future. But other than that, these teams they're right alongside each other. It's been a fun season.
Shout out to Lax044 with a $4.99 super chat. As much as I don't want Jones to have a third offensive coordinator, Garrett's system is the problem. The difference between Shermer and Garrett's system is crazy.
Yeah.
You want Shermer? You want Shermer back?
Shermer did a good job, man, and he wasn't cut out to be a head coach. He didn't have that. Man, football is like a tough sport, man. You can't be no softy. I'm gonna keep it 100. You can't be no softy and be coaching men every day and make sure that they got to show up on time, be responsible, study the playbook, do what they got to do. You can't be no softy and have that job. That job takes a certain kind of guy, and I know we got our guy.
The Beard, man. Truer words have never been spoken, right?
Yeah, that's
NFL is a tough game.
It is.
Yeah.
Shout out to Roldy with the $5 super chat. Say, Scotty, Action Brunson, and Awthentik. When are you guys coming to New York? I want to take y'all. Pull up and get out.
Oh yeah, you know we gonna do that.
As soon as 19 is gone, the COVID gone.
When you said 19, I thought you were talking about a year. I was like, hey, you a whole year back, bro?
we gonna take this show on the road. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like we got big plans for the future. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate the support. We definitely gonna be up in. It's crazy. I have not been back to New York since the day I moved back home from New York.
No big deal.
That was a long time ago.
That was 2003.
Yeah, that's a
shout
long
out
time
the
ago.
Beard also birthed a baby in an elevator in New York City as a young man. I believe he was 19 when he did it. Talk about some stories. Sit down with the Beard. He's gonna give you some New York stories.
Yeah, that's fact. But Rody, I'm gonna definitely be up there, bro. Next season, I'll be there, and hopefully they open up the stadium because I got a tailgate out there, man. And it's time, bro. It's definitely time.
Shout out to Lax044 for the $4.99 super chat. Shermer is a bad head coach, good OC. Garrett is bad. Both.
Yeah, unfortunately, that might be the case. But I will say this about Garrett. Only 1 year they didn't have a winning record over there in Dallas, and their quarterback went down.
And my man Lucas checking in from Australia. I don't know. It's probably afternoon over there. Shout out to Lucas with the $30.99 Australian cent.
99. I needed
Super
some
chat.
cynisms.
Whoop! There it is. Can you dig it? Beard can digs it. Sorry I missed the show, but hopefully you got up in fantasy. I did. I won my fantasy. Thank you, Lucas, for checking in. Lucas was stopped by the over the years sale last night and checked in on me, and people were giving me Stefon Diggs updates throughout the entire live last night, so that was pretty awesome. Shout out to everybody, Waterfly, everybody that came through and showed some love.
Hey, I'm super glad that you took that championship, man, because that move homie tried to pull by drafting or by signing all the quarterbacks that you could possibly get, knowing that your quarterback was hurt and banged up. That's the rules of the universe right there. That's why you got that
completely
win.
Because I would have 100% picked up Drew Brees and started him instead of Derek Carr.
Hey, that's how the universe works, bro.
Because of the move he made, Awthentik, he lost.
Yeah.
You can say his name,
you.
right? I mean, I don't think there's any.
No need to.
Right?
No need to. That sleazeball move, we don't even got to say his name on this podcast right now. Sleazeball move, man. Sleazeball move. I don't like that. I really didn't like that. But you said it. Money's on the line, and for money, some people will do damn near anything.
If it wasn't
except
my
for
friend,
play good football.
Except for play good football when it comes
Dwayne
to
Haskins.
Down to Dwayne Haskins.
Why do I bring you back up, man? I was having a good time.
I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to,
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Get over it. I'm trying to get over it, and you know what I'm saying? Try to snap out of my funk and throw a little shade and have a little smile. The opportunity presented itself.
There's some Bullets kids live
that.
across the street from me, too. There's like a whole house full of these Bullets kids. I might go over there tonight and be like, what's up? Y'all want to throw hands or what?
What's up? Y'all want to throw some hands or what?
And I want to say something else what I thought was really funny is how Nate talking Giants and AJ are playing Madden against each other right now and chatting their entire game in the chat.
Oh, that's fire
Nate
right
was,
there.
I thought Nate was going on it because Nate was like, WTF, what's going on right now? I'm like, man, we are screwing up our show tonight. Our show's bad.
Nah, that's my guy,
funny.
man. That's my guy. And if y'all just getting here, make sure you tune in and sub up to Nate, man. Nate Talks Giants. That dude really know his stuff. And when this offseason hits, bro, I told you, I'm going to be reaching out to you, man. I need all the scoop on all the wide receivers coming into this draft. I heard about the kid Devonta. I heard about my man Waddle. You know, I heard about a couple of guys, but I need to scout. You know, I know about Jamar Chase, and I already looked at the tape. I'm going to keep on hunting. I don't like what he brings to the table. I'm going to keep on hunting.
Let's write that down.
I'm telling you right now, I'm really excited for this offseason.
Scotty, put it down because, look, this is what I think about Chase. He's too like a Sterling Shepard, but better maybe.
So not quite the ceiling you'd want to see. Good receiver, professional receiver, but not what you're looking for.
I need that guy that's going to peel the cap off the top of these defenses. I need that CD Lamb.
Shout out Kevin Hart one time.
Have you gotten a chance?
I need that CD Lamb, Scotty. That's
Peel
what I
the cap
need.
back on knee.
Have you gotten a chance to watch any of the tight end from Florida, the tape?
No, only tape I seen was the highlight tape of Jamar Chase. It's
They
the
were
only
losing
tape
when
I
just turned
seen.
the game off. They might still be losing now. They lost their
So
quarterback.
my thing is, I'm gonna definitely just be. I'm not a college guy, so y'all could throw big shade to me in the chat. It's cool. I'm not a college guy. I always do my scouting in the off season. And I'm gonna look back at it. I'm gonna look back at more Jamar Chase film, and I'm gonna compare it to other guys. I'm gonna give this guy a chance. But I just, from what I saw, he didn't have that speed that reminded me of guys like, y'all remember Noel Devine?
Oh my God! Let
West
me tell
Virginia,
you,
right?
there is.
That's what I'm looking for.
You know, he was
That
originally
kind of, like,
he was originally
make
committed
you
to Notre
miss
Dame.
vibes. You know that, like, when you miss, you gonna pay. I'm going and I'm celebrating, and I'm so fast that I'm gonna be able to celebrate while you chasing me. I need that kind of guy.
Yo,
He
that
was a little
his
small for
high
the
school.
NFL, but he was dumb fast. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, Rody, I'm with you, bro. I told you, man, I got to do my scouting, bro. I'm going to look back at that Jamar Chase. And you right, though, because Odell Beckham's tape wasn't crazy. I ain't going to lie. When I scouted Odell Beckham, the tape didn't make me go, oh, this is going to be one of the premier wide receivers in the league. And he was a shorter guy, too. You know, Odell Beckham comes in at just right under 6 feet. But talk about a playmaker. I mean, yeah, we need that Victor Cruz. We need that Odell Beckham. Even a guy like who's so slept on and underrated. I know a lot of these young boys don't even know about these days. But Hakeem Nicks was drafted in the first round, and he showed up and showed out early with those 10-inch hands and fingers that he had. That boy didn't drop nothing. And he
He
had a
always
drop
caught
problem in North Carolina, I want to say.
He had that gator. The end of his Giants tenure, there was some weird like gator grip where we kind of get too close in on him. But I mean, for the most part, Hakeem Nicks, that dude carried my fantasy team a couple years in a row. Touchdown machine.
Yeah, Nicks was a dog, man. That wide receiver core was one of my favorites, man, because there was a lot of guys who were kind of unexpected, just balling out. And I think the Giants should maybe look at tight end too. I think that's an option to look at tight end possibly maybe late rounds in the draft, or if you could find a guy, because even a guy like Darren Waller, man, that dude, he was on the practice squad drafted in the 6th round. Nobody thought he was going to be the guy he is today. And look at him. He's one of the best tight ends in the league. Travis Kelce, not a first-round pick either.
And George Kittle. Awthentik
Kittle.
and I have had this conversation about these tight ends, and like,
Yep.
and it's crazy because I know, like, I always hear Awthentik like voice in my head when he's just like, how did they not see? How did they miss it? Like, how did they not? I don't understand, like, how, George Kittle, Travis Kelce, these
I don't
guys
get it.
fall
I don't get
to
it.
these middle of the rounds.
And
like,
I'll keep it 100. I don't watch enough college football to understand why they miss like that. Because a guy like Kittle coming out, that's the most physical tight end in the NFL.
It's all up here. It's the one thing you can't show at even that Wonderlic test is stupid. It's up here and it's in here. You can't
Hey, but the
test
beard to
those two
tell you
things,
too,
man.
who were the quarterbacks that came out in that Patrick Mahomes draft?
Deshaun
Mitchell
Watson,
Trubisky, Deshaun Watson.
Yup.
Who's
we
the
missing
other
one more?
Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen, right?
No. Rosen was the year before, I thought, right? Or year after. I think Trubisky
Year after, maybe.
and Watson.
But
and
I
Mahomes was
remember them
2016,
sitting down with the
2017.
coach of the Raiders right now, John Gruden, right? And I watched all of them just sit down with them, and I was like, Patrick Mahomes is the one. Beard will vouch for me on that. I've been said that. I was
That's
like,
impressive.
that is the one. Because mentally, you could tell he had it. You could tell in that quarterback position, a lot of guys, look at the GOAT. Look at the GOAT, Tom Brady.
I think that's the
6th rounder.
biggest thing. Like, you could talk about arm strength all day. You can, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. But and I think I hate to bring it all back, but I think that's the mental thing. The mental thing, you have to have mental toughness, right? And when you look back on it, like just Dwayne Haskins was never had that, right? But like you look at somebody like Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, and it's easy to say for somebody when they come in and they perform well, right?
Yeah.
But it's the way that they perform. It's not necessarily the arm strength or the touchdowns, and it's just the focusedness of where you're looking at the field when everything is crashing down on you. Look at Joe Burrow. That was one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL.
Yeah.
And yet Joe Burrow had the second most dropbacks in the NFL at the point in which he got injured. Like you have to have a certain level of mental toughness to drop back time and time again, knowing that you're going to have to get rid of that ball in crazy pressure.
Yeah, and I don't know how these guys don't spot it. I even think with the kid Taylor Heineke coming in the game, as soon as he came in the game, I was like, they got a little pep. That looks a little quicker. That looks a little faster.
He everything was quicker with him. The release, the read, everything.
But then
was faster.
once you get past, see, for me, it's the guys that don't get past that threshold, and these scouts and these teams don't notice it. Like Dwayne Haskins, for instance, right? Like they can't see it early enough, right? His interview was probably awful, and his play, when you see him drop back and pass and throw the ball, it's just not, everything is not fast, right? And I feel like there's a threshold that you have to meet in the NFL, and there's guys who are very close, like Case Keenum's, they're very close. I can think of a bunch of backup quarterbacks who kind of look the part. Even the kid Stanton that you talked about in the trivia time. I remember when he would drop back, you'd be like, that looks like an NFL quarterback. There's a lot of guys like that, right? And then you see guys like Marcus Mariota, who I think might have maybe went over the hump now, but when he was in Tennessee, it's like he would drop back, and I just never saw it. I was like, he going to have to win games on his legs. There's other guys you see who process the game so fast. Deshaun Watson, he sees the pressure before the pressure's even coming down on him. Russell Wilson processes very quickly. And there's backups who do this too, but I think you got to at least breach that threshold. I think Colt McCoy even breaches that threshold. When he drops back to pass, the decision-making happens very quick. It's like, bang, ball's out.
It was good. You mentioned it Sunday morning. You talked about quarterbacks that get to sit for a little bit. And, these guys are sitting because they're not considered top prospects, but it really adds to their development because when they do get their chances, they normally shine for a couple games.
Yeah, and did y'all see the mic'd up? I know the Beard saw it with Chase Young.
Chase Young, yeah.
Chase Young was like, when he saw
Scotty
Taylor
Boomz
Heineke get in the game,
again today.
Dog, just that right there showed you that they didn't have confidence as a team in Haskins. Forget the coaching staff, forget the management, forget the owners, right?
And I think that's the worst part about it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just the reality of
it is,
for real,
100%.
Right? And when the young boy gets on the field, you start hearing him saying, he was like, Heineke, right?
And
Chase Young was
the
screaming
second thing
that,
he
right?
said right after that? He said, this guy's been studying. Which to me is an indictment of the dude who they just pulled out the game who hasn't been studying.
And Dwayne Haskins was right over his shoulder when he went over there to give him props, at the timeout or whatever. Dwayne Haskins trying to trot over there, and Chase Young's kind of saying a little bit of disrespect towards Haskins, like, you got this. You was born for this. You ready for this moment? And the kid was like, yo, that's all I do. All I do is ball out.
And Chase Young was almost taking it back. He's like, oh, okay, I see you.
Like,
we're heading back to the sideline now.
Right. And it's like Haskins comes over there like, all right, man, good job. You just got to roll out, bro. Roll out. It's over for you now.
It's that
When you see a kid like that,
too. Right.
You got to have that, man. Yo, I came into Einstein as a quarterback my freshman year, sat on the bench the whole year. The only time they would bring me in the game was to throw the ball on Hail Marys to the quarterback because he was taller than everybody. So they knew I had a stronger arm than him at 5'4". So they'd be like, Awthentik, get on the field. We got a halftime here. It's about to be, 4 seconds of the game. We need you to throw it to deep to our quarterback at the time, who was a bonehead. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. This dude was a bonehead, okay? Life told him and has shown that he was a bonehead. And literally, I sat on that bench. But the reason why I was the starting quarterback my sophomore year, it was all up here. I knew where everybody had to be on the field. My right tackle would ask me what we need to do before the play. We had this is JV football. We had guys on the line who literally, I would call the play and they'd be like, what do I do? Yo, you right guard, you pulling on this run. I knew the game more mentally than my physical assets were not there. I was only 5'4". And I was running back then probably like a 4'9". I was slow as dirt.
Yeah, you give yourself a little bit more credit. It wasn't
short.
that bad.
I was short. I didn't have long legs. The only reason why I'm kind of fast now is because I got long legs.
4'9" is fast. for an average person. Let's get real.
Man, I was at a school where we had the Maryland State rusher. Shout out to my cousin Serge, who I want to say had 1,000 and 1,000 his junior year at quarterback. And he was literally, Serge would run right, run left, run back right, come back to the middle field, point down the field, and then throw the ball like 60 yards for a touchdown. Yo, they looking at me like, bro, you cannot scramble. You slow as dirt, cuz. And I got a little height, and before I got my height, they gave up on me. You know, they moved me to a wide receiver. I was in the slot blocking for running backs. But I mean, you as far, and that's on a minuscule JV level, and we talking about guys on a professional level getting paid. Imagine they paid you, Scotty, to just study football. That's an easy job.
Hopefully, I will get paid someday to study football. But I hear what you're saying, man.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Bro.
Shout out to Sunday who dropped the $5 super chat. Says, name one player a coach wouldn't mind to see back on the team.
James Betcher. Awthentik was a huge James Betcher fan last year, so we know we want him to.
No, James Betcher had to go. It just his scheme didn't work over here.
So
name one player coach you wouldn't mind to see back on the team. I mean, I had the whole Odell Beckham soliloquy. That's one.
That's probably it,
you know, that's definitely one. And I'll give you two others that could have been on the squad. I think Snacks Harrison was a guy that we should have kept around, because if you kept Snacks Harrison around, maybe you had to pay him more. You wouldn't have had to use that draft pick on Sexy Dexy. He was the same kind of player, maybe even more productivity out of Snacks, to be honest, at this point. But we got a lot more football to see from Dexy. And Jason Pierre-Paul.
JP
made a Pro Bowl this year.
Man, when he started losing fingers, I thought his career was over. And the dude just continued to ball
made
out.
the Pro Bowl.
Man, they don't need 10 fingers.
You already know. And shout out to Alvin Kamara. The Giants better use Saquon Barkley in that fashion next year. Get him out there catching passes. You know, RPO with Daniel Jones. Y'all better leave it all out on the line. If they bring back Jason Garrett, I'm totally cool with it, to be honest. You know, give him a year under his belt to really adjust and fix what's gone wrong. I think Joe Judge is the kind of guy, he's not going to let that linger on too long. Somebody going to have to make an adjustment. You saw when Freddie Kitchens came in against the game against the Browns, they utilized Evan Ingram more like Evan Ingram should be utilized. You saw a lot more seam routes up the middle. That's where Evan Ingram can beat linebackers and beat strong safeties. I like what I saw in that game. And then you see a bit of regression against the Ravens. I don't get it. It's like, I think it's just because this Giants team really has no identity with Saquon Barkley out of the lineup. You know, you don't know, should we go to the pass more or should we go to the run with these running backs who are like, you know, junkyard kind of salvage part running backs, to be honest. Right. None of these guys are number one running backs. A lot of people are talking about don't bring Wayne Gallman back. He's gonna get a big contract with a team. That's not happening. And Wayne Gallman is a number 2.
Shout out to Lax044 with a $4.99 super chat. This is interesting. I saw a report today that the Giants wanted to interview the Bills' offensive coordinator for their offensive coordinator job, but the Bills blocked them. Brian Daboll has ties to Joe Judge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He was the OC at Alabama when they won that national championship in 2017, I believe, too. The dude knows how to call plays. Maybe not a bad move. I mean, if Giants fans want to move on from Garrett, Awthentik said he's cool to roll another year with them, but we'll see how they move.
Yeah, he was a quarterback's coach somewhere as well, too, in the NFL before he got the OC job with the Bills. I see the Bills bringing him back.
Can't remember. And
for one more year, and then I think he'll get a head coaching job after that.
Yeah, I mean, Bieniemy's been sitting in that boat now for like 3 seasons over in Kansas City, but it's hard for him to say leave when you're running the best offensive football for, 3 years in a row now? Chiefs
that's facts, man. And you saw them. The Bills made the right move, man. I mean, you saw the inaccuracy issues with Josh Allen at quarterback, and then they bring in a guy like Stephon Diggs. It completely opened up the offense. You don't see Allen running the ball as much crazy, but he's scoring a lot of rushing touchdowns. I want to say he's got 9 rushing touchdowns on the season, and I got to make a correction from earlier. Daniel Jones only has 9 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, and 9 interceptions on the season.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen is averaging like 50 yards a game rushing, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
and, shout out Steph Diggs, because you have a receiver like that, you're getting a safety way out of the box and the corners running all the way downfield. So now you're talking about 9 guys.
Easy money.
Diggy says his pro comp for Jamar Chase would be Devontae Adams.
I'd like that. You would like that, Awthentik. But I hear you said you're not too sold on him. Sounds like Diggy's all about him. Devontae's obviously the truth. He had a huge game.
Yeah, definitely make sure y'all sub up to Diggy, man. He's got a fire channel, and he's another Giants fan.
I couldn't find him on there. That's his channel? Spelled the same, Digge 546? Why couldn't I find him a second ago?
Yep, he's on there. I think you might have to put a space between the numbers, possibly. I think that's the name of the channel, though. I'm pretty sure. But if y'all if somebody can find Diggy's channel and put it in the chat, that'd be awesome. Yo, one of the moderators, please do.
And then shout out one more time to Lax044 with a $4.99 super chat. They wanted to hire him this year, but couldn't, so they hired Garrett instead. That's what happened.
Sounds like Garrett's like life story. He was in Dallas all those years, and they were just like, "Can we please get a real head coach over here?" And then he comes over to the Giants, and they're like, "We didn't really want you, but you are our second choice, so come on board."
Yeah, and I do think that Garrett, even if the offensive plan and the scheme is not working quite to our advantage at the moment, I do think he gives Joe Judge a little bit of leverage as a young coach, probably teaching him a lot of, experience that he's had as dealing with being a head coach for so many years. And I think that's going to rub off on Joe Judge a little bit too. Joe Judge hired a lot of ex-coaches, head coaches around him, Freddie Kitchens as well. So I think once Joe Judge can really see it with his own eyes, the way that he sees this scheme to be for the offense, what'll work best for Daniel Jones, or get rid of Daniel Jones if you got to a contract year, whatever you got to do. But I'm invested in Daniel Jones at least until the contract's over. I think that guy has a skill set to be a good quarterback in this league. Just got to put the weapons around him, man. There ain't no quarterbacks with no weapons, man. I will keep saying that until y'all find me one.
I'm with you. I'm so glad they put the results of this batting game too. This is a great way to tie up the show right here.
AJ Ford says he beat Nate 24-14 with the Jets.
He had the Chiefs.
Hey, I tried to tell you about the Jets.
Yeah, powerhouse team. Of course you beat the Chiefs. I mean,
he had the Chiefs. Darnold,
what is it about the Jets? It's, don't fall asleep at the wheel on the Jets. Yeah, Sam Darnold, man. Sam Darnold, bro.
That's Awthentik's boy too, man. I'd love to see him here next year. Washington.
He's not too bad, man. He might be a guy y'all can mold. I'm really curious to see what happens with Josh Rosen in San Fran.
Look, they might not get rid of Sam Darnold. They might not draft a quarterback at number 2. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, we'll see.
Think about the draft capital that you could probably get in return for that number 2 pick in a quarterback-heavy draft like this year.
Yeah,
you got to find a dumb team like Washington or something to give it up.
Oh, don't do that.
I mean, we need a quarterback, picks, right? Man. We've done it before.
I
number
do
2,
think
we love that.
Like, especially fans of the NFL and coaches in the NFL, I think they overvalue that draft. You look at a team like Pittsburgh, they make a splash trade for Minka. It completely changes your defense when you got a healthy Bud Dupree. A lot of teams have done that. I think that when KC went on their Super Bowl run last year, that was a big part of it, man. Signing a guy like Honey Badger completely can change your defense. It's not working out that great this year, but at least for the first year, it worked out really well. I'm more and look at the Bills, Stephon Diggs. That's another major one. Look at what DeAndre Hopkins does for your boy Kyler Murray.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing too. Is think about that though. Those are all like crazy trades that you mentioned, right? But they don't happen that much like that in the NFL. You get maybe one of those a year. Yeah. It's wild.
Because teams are scared to do it. A lot of teams are scared to do it. I think the Browns did it with Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. Bringing in guys like that, it's like, whoo.
Look, Voldy is so funny because, trust me, Scotty Boomz is already hip to that also. Voldy says, Scotty, Action Bronson has a brown girl. When you going to make a move to the black-brown side? Authentic, you better be with a black chick, hopefully a Haitian chick.
Hey, I'm with a Puerto Rican, bro, and she fire.
Right, I've been trying to get Sunday's IG for longer than you have. You've been trying for 6 months. All season, bro, so don't talk to me about that.
Yeah, Scotty already knows. Last time we partied heavy, me and Scotty went to me and Scotty, I almost lost my train of thought with that. Oh, man, you just did.
I always lost my train of thought those days.
Me and Scotty went to Rock and Roll Hotel the last time we really hung out before I went over there and fixed his setup, right? And we just, we having a bunch of drinks in the club. It was a Violet Says 5 show. Shout out to my man Ethan, who just dropped a teaser to a new video. And we in the crowd, right? And we drinking heavy. I'm in the front of the stage, and we pilt. Me and Scotty had a bunch of drinks, right? I look around, I don't see Scotty. I'm like, this band's kind of like rock and roll vibe, so it wasn't too many sisters in the building. I looked around, he was hollering at like the one of 3 sisters in the building. I said, that's my man right there. I said, that's my guy. He said, my camera working.
Right. Nah,
yeah, that's my dude, man. These 2 dudes, they love the sisters. They always have.
You mentioned it. This is the melting pot of the DMV. Any flavor you want, you can have it at the DMV, baby.
Facts.
When I say DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, not the MVA. That's what we call it. We call the DMV, the MVA around here, just for a heads up for y'all.
Yeah, that's facts, man.
Man, we are running late tonight. My dog.
Yeah, man, they had a lot to talk about, Scotty.
Great show, great show. Let's get him out of here, though. It is getting late. It is only Tuesday. The Beard, give him a couple words, my friend.
Hey, just as always, I got to thank you guys for all the love and the support for this channel. Every time we sign on, it is nothing but a blast, and it is because of you all in the chat. Shout out to everybody that checked in on Facebook, Twitch, Periscope, and of course here on YouTube. Thank you to everybody that sent super chats and donated to this channel. It does mean a lot to us. I'm super excited because right now, we got all this Week 16 stuff out. Thursday, we get to sit down and talk about what's going to happen in the last week of the regular season. And when we kind of started this podcast, YouTube show, this whole Authentic in the Beard vibe and everything, we did it because we thought that this was the best division in football. And we've had a couple of rough seasons, but we get to watch football this Sunday where the division is on the line. And somebody's going to win a division, and we're going into the playoffs. And I cannot be more excited for what's to come for this channel and for our teams.
Exciting. I mean, nothing more you could ask for getting down to the last week of the season. Both our teams got a chance to host a playoff game. It's outrageous. Authentic, man. Send them off right.
Let's get that super chat one time.
Shout out to Justin for the $2 super chat. Great stream. Love the off-season type convos. I'm excited. I know y'all saw me do one of these beard jumps right here because I'm excited to dive into all the different possibilities of off-season content. I'm excited to break down positions. I'm excited to, give everybody some sort of, pre-fantasy, outlooks, mock drafts on regular football, mock drafts on fantasy. I'm excited to do, all this like fun off-season rankings, like top free agents at every position. I mean, there's going to be so much content, and
crazy.
you guys are going to see a different side of us too. And hopefully the content will be plentiful. So we're definitely excited for what's to come. Thank you for the super chat, Justin.
Appreciate that, Justin, man. Appreciate Giants Nation tuning in again tonight, man. Y'all always in the building one time, man. Yo, super chats was lit tonight, man. Appreciate everybody who dropped the super chat. Roldy, man, I appreciate you popping in, man. Sac passe mon cher. I got to get me some Haitian soup, you said. So we're gonna work on that. You know what I'm saying? But man, going into Thursday, this is it, man. Week 17. I'm looking at it like one of these three teams definitely about to get this home playoff game. I hope it's my Giants, man. 1 o'clock. I definitely want to see us come out of that game with a victory. It's been 3 straight weeks of just dismal football for the New York Giants, man. But make sure y'all tune in on Thursday. Throughout the week, I'm going to keep y'all plugged on Twitter, man. You know how I do. We always laughing, joking on the Twitter, man. We have a great time on Twitter. If you don't follow us on Twitter, let's bring up that graphic one time. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bang, boom, bop.
You got Scotty Boomz. I'm trying to get him a little bit more involved on the tweets. You know what I'm saying? We got to pull you in, brother.
Added number 2 to the end of my name.
Yeah, but you know what I thought you might want to do with that name? Like change the O to a 0, and it'll still look the same. You feel me?
Tim walk on water. Gotcha.
Yeah, or take a number. Maybe the E on the water could be a 3 or something like that. That way your name still look the same. You like that, right?
I like that.
So, yeah, man, that's all I got for tonight, man. Y'all got the OBJ rant. Y'all got the Dwayne Haskins rant. Yo.
This weekend's going to be lit with the streams.
It's going to be exciting. We got our trivia show Saturday. We got our preview show Thursday. We got our obvious parlay Sunday morning. Yeah, we're going to be busy here the next 6 days.
It's going to be lit, man. And tomorrow I'll be announcing the people who are going to be on the trivia show on on Saturday night. We got Team Awthentik. You know we repping that blue gang. And we got Team The Beard over there repping that nameless team that, goes by the football team.
I gotta grow my Trebek out and get my suit fresh.
Hey, my man. Yo, maybe we will do a little costume vibe on that show. That might be a little
definitely
interesting.
wearing a suit. What are you talking about?
A suit and tie? Oh,
game
yeah.
show. I'm gonna be suited
we about to get
and
spiffy?
Oh, yeah.
suited
Let's get
and
spiffy,
booted.
man. Let's
All
get
the way.
spiffy. Make sure y'all are here Saturday. We're going to start it at 8, probably go till about 9:30. We're going to have 6 contestants on the trivia show. It's going to be a Jeopardy-style type thing. We definitely – and we're going to be giving away a prize. We're going to be giving a prize. There's going to be one trivia question in the middle of the night that's going to win somebody a jersey of your choice. And we don't do that iron-on BS over here. We're doing stitched jerseys. You can ask who won that first jersey from the reseller community.
Kelly, the ecom mom.
Kelly, the ecom mom. She got herself a real nice JJ Watt jersey. And I think she got the red one, right, Scotty?
She did get the no, I believe it was
She got the blue.
I think
She got the blue.
It was sweet
Yeah,
jersey,
so
though.
somebody
She
gonna
said she
get
liked
blessed
it.
with another jersey. Make sure y'all tune in. I'm looking forward to seeing Scotty on his Alex Trebek vibes. I think that's gonna be fire.
Yes.
Oh, I'm excited for it myself. All right, well, man, appreciate you guys hanging out late tonight. 2.5 40-minute show. We're running late on
get
a
it.
Tuesday, but the energy was fire tonight from the chat and from the panel. I love you guys. We did it big tonight. Check us out Thursday for our preview show. Last week of the season. We are right here at the home stretch, folks. Don't forget to tune in 7 p.m. It's going to be a little bit aggressive, a little bit more aggressive than tonight, I think. Tonight, we're kind of getting over last week. Thursday, it's going to be all about next week. Have
Love
a
you,
beautiful
Maria.
evening. Thanks again for tuning in. Best division in football. Good night.